too big of an in-breath there. In-breath, inhale. You mean inhale? I do. I mean inhale. Hey, everybody. Welcome into the High Noon edition of me. I am Pugs Moran. We call this High Noon each and every day, Monday through Friday at noon. We all get together and we talk about the things that are happening in the world. What you will hear over the next 2 hours or so is a hot take on every topic that is trending. A hot take on every headline that is going around. If it's a hot topic, if it's something that's circulating within our American culture today, whether it's trending online or whether it's leading the masthead of our favorite metropolitan newspapers. Nobody listens to metropolitan newspapers. Nobody reads them. Are you insane? You know what I mean. I mean, you see them digitally, whatever it is, headlines, hot topics, current events, trending topics, all of those things get covered in my attempt to bring the entire world, at least as far as it concerns this particular day, into you, to you, so that you're not bumping around going, I didn't hear about that. I didn't hear about that. So it's quick. It's bam, 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 bam. What up, Byron? Byron's here. Good to see you, Byron. I'm having some throat issues, some weird throat issues. I don't know. Also, we do a second stream. We do 2 streams a day. Who's the we? Well, I'm talking about you, schizophrenic me, my voice inside my head that I bring out because I don't have a partner on this particular stream. I do have a partner on the 9 o'clock stream. The 9 o'clock stream, it's me and James Parker. Pugs and Parker proudly present Pillow Talk on the Radio Misfits podcast platform. That's at 9 o'clock, 9 p.m. Central Time, Monday through Thursday. That one, that one we don't put as much work. This one I put some work into. This one takes work. This one takes... Stop it. Nobody thinks you do actual work. People are doing actual work. You're not. You're reading the newspaper and then talking about it. That's kind of true. But it does take a while to read all the stuff. So, here we are. This is where we find ourselves. Wanna get straight out by saying that last night's Pillow Talk with myself and Parker, whereas this is all topic driven, headline, hot take, hot topic, hot take, all that stuff. That's what this is. The Pillow Talk show is more conversational. It's me and Parker, and typically we would find one topic and we spend the better part of an hour just, hashing this topic out, chopping it up, as they say. And last night's topic, I did not feel great about. I did not feel that last night's topic was framed exactly the way I wanted to frame it. But hey, that's what I got Parker for. I got Parker to bring his input, and I'm not blaming Parker. I shouldn't do that. I'm not trying to scapegoat anybody. But we spent the better part of an hour talking about Lizzo's new show on Amazon Prime, which is they released a trailer for Lizzo's Amazon Prime show. And the trailer was just a bunch of very heavy set women club dance, like dancing, like going crazy dancing. And it started a conversation. I brought this up because I am in the midst of an attempt to get control of my health. I have been a fat guy my entire life. I was a fat kid. I was a fat chubby. I wasn't, not obese or anything, but I've never been skinny. I have never, ever been skinny. I mean, like I said, I'm 6 foot tall. I weigh 230 pounds. Tell them the truth. 233, but I don't count that 3. I round down. I'm 6 foot tall. I weigh 230 pounds. I am supposed to weigh 180 pounds. So I am 50 pounds overweight. That is, that's not good. So I've been running. I've been eating better. I am dropping weight. You know what my high was? My high was 257 pounds. That not recently. That was I don't know, a couple of years ago, but I went to the doctor and, they do the weigh-in and I was shocked. And then after that, after I got that 257, I got all the way down to 208 pounds. That's my low. 208 is my low of the last couple of years. And now I'm back up to, into the 230s, and I would like to be around 210. I would like to be around 215, 210. That's when I feel better. So I am a fat person. I am a fat person who understands the struggle. And last night, I knew that we were on a timer. I knew that we were running out of time. And I just feel like maybe some of the ways that James and I handled the discussion of what appears to be a celebration of heavy people these days wasn't framed in exactly the way that I had intended. So that's all I'm going to say on that. And again, I'm not going to be able to nutshell it, because nutshelling it in the hour we had last night to discuss it was pretty much the problem, which is why I feel I'm not satisfied with the way that conversation went. But in a nutshell, being excessively overweight is not healthy. And I don't understand why we have now gone from an incredibly unhealthy body type, which was, in the 90s, it was rail thin and heroin chic and all that, incredibly unhealthy. You poor little girls doing bulimia and anorexia, all that kind of stuff. That was totally unhealthy. We seem to have overcorrected to a point now where it's like, well, if you want to be obese, that's fine. And we talked about obesity rates around the world and how America is the most obese country among the first world nations, among the civilized countries. America has a 36% obesity rate. And we talked about why that is. And it just got into some areas that, I don't know. I thought it was a good show. I thought it was an interesting conversation. Hey, we had some laughs. But, I feel like it wasn't framed in the way that I wanted the conversation to be framed. But that's why I have a partner. Because sometimes you just have to, you have to mix it up a little bit. Yeah, I am exactly 6 foot, Byron. Why do you say, are you sure? I am. I've been 6 foot since, I want to say junior year in high school. I haven't grown an inch since like junior year in high school. Hi, April. Hi, April, says schizophrenic me. We got April here. We got Al in the chat room. JBM checking in. Allah, JBM. Why would you say, are you sure that you're 6 foot tall? Yeah, I'm absolutely sure. I'm willing to put all the money I have on it. as long as we can have 3 measurements, because I'm one measurement if I'm like, 5'11" and, whatever. No, I'm 6 foot. I am. It was a celebration when I reached 6 foot tall. I don't like people questioning that. What do you think, I'm short? Do people think I'm short? I'm not short. I've never been called short in my life. I've never been short. I was like 5'10" in the 8th grade. Al says I was 5'11" in my senior year, and now I'm apparently 5'10". Adam, yeah. Adam, 5'11", stopped growing. Man, doesn't that suck? Because when you're in like the 7th or 8th grade and you're big and you're tall, you're like, this is going to be awesome. I'm going to be massive. And then you don't grow. And then it's just like, so what happened? And then you got guys like David Robinson, the Admiral, who literally grew himself out of the Navy. David Robinson was in the Navy. He wasn't supposed to be able to go straight to the NBA, but he grew like 100 inches while in a submarine, and he's all hunched over, and they're like, yeah, you can't be in the Navy. You're like 7 foot tall. Al says, when I turned 50, I checked and I shrunk, apparently because of age, I guess. Yeah, people tend to shrink. We do. We shrink. All right, let's talk about what today is. It is the High Noon Show. We cover each and everything about today, why today's special, why today's sad, all of those things. It is March the 24th. It is a Thursday. It is the Thursday of the eve of my weekend with my boy. I love that. I love my boy weekends. I guess I haven't confirmed that. I like to be courteous and confirm. I'm not just one of these dick, divorced dads who's like, this is my weekend. They got something there and do that they want to do. It's really cool. And we can be fluid. It's a tip for you, man. don't be an asshole about it, okay? No matter how bad your divorce went, just love that person for giving you this child. That's a pretty simple way of going about it, I feel. I have no malice. She has no. We're fine. And if, you know what? If that kid, honestly, it's the kid's choice. Like a couple of weeks ago, the kid wanted to skip his Friday night with me because they were going to some party with a group of people going to see the movie The Batman. And I'm like, well, that sounds better than what I had planned. Go for it, dude. You got to be like that. There is never going to be an argument in a driveway with this, thing I'm going out. I'm fine. I love my kid. My kid loves me. We know. I now live just a couple of miles from him. I used to live 1,000 miles away from him. That sucked. This is all perfect, man. There's no reason to cause any trouble. It is. So I do believe it's the weekend with my kid, but I always like to confirm. Hey, he good to come this weekend? Like that. Never assume. See, never just be like, it's my weekend. Don't be an asshole. Why would you be an asshole? This is, because some people are assholes. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Anyway, it is Thursday. It is the 83rd day of the year. It is, how many days? I did that thing. How many days? Just read it, stupid. You got it in front of you. 282 days remain until the end of the year. What is today? We like to find out what today is. Let's check the national calendar to see what we should be celebrating on this day. It's National Chocolate-Covered Raisin Day. All right. A chocolate-covered raisin is good. I prefer a chocolate-covered almond, but, what are those Raisinets? Isn't that, what the candy is? Raisinets are good. It's National Cheesesteak Day. Oh, I don't need this on my diet. I don't need this. Maybe I'll just eat some tuna wrapped in a lettuce leaf and call it a cheesesteak. No, that's not going to work. Yeah, I know it's not going to work. Happy National Cheesesteak Day. Best cheesesteak. Now, granted, I have been to Philadelphia, and I did that thing where there's the two famous cheesesteak places right across the street from each other, Pat's, and I forgot the other one. And you go and you get you get one from Pat's and you get one from the other one, and then you sit there and you try and do. That's like the whole bit they got going. It is such a scam, but it's good if you like cheesesteak. One is with Cheese Whiz. One is with actual pieces of cheese. I prefer the Whiz. I do. I don't know why. It's creamier. It's more of like a mess and goopy. I like that. But I don't remember which one is my favorite. So if I ever find myself in Philadelphia again, I'll have to do that again, where you go to the Pat's and then you go to the other place. I don't know what the other place is called. Maybe it's Pat's that I like better, and that's why I remember it. I don't know. But you want to know who's got the best everyday. You feel like you want a cheesesteak, because most places have a cheesesteak. And some places have terrible cheesesteaks. Some places they're not even trying. They just wanted to put it on the menu because they know people like it. But the Big Kahuna from Jersey Mike's. It's like $40. No, it's not. I know, but it's expensive for a sandwich. It's an expensive sandwich because you got to get the giant. You can't get the regular. You got to get the giant. And then for me, that's 2 meals. I'll like half of it will be like dinner, and then I'll have that other one and I'll save it for lunch. Tell the truth. I'll eat it at midnight. I always intend to save the second half of the Big Kahuna for lunch, but it never makes it. Never makes it to lunch. And I justify it by saying something to myself like, well, it's just not going to be good in the refrigerator overnight. So I go out and I eat it cold off the counter. All right, what else is today? It's National Chocolate-Covered Raisin Day. It's National Cheesecake Day. These are all days that are not in alliance with my diet. It is National Cocktail Day. Have yourself a cocktail. I'm not a big cocktail guy. I used to hate cocktails. I was a bartender during the cocktail renaissance. Oh, man. I used to hate that. Can I have a strawberry chocolate martini? I suppose. Would be my answer. It's like, I suppose. What's in that? I don't know. Okay, then you're going to get what I think is in it. And you just give them whatever the hell it is. And you watch out of your corner of your eye as you're at the other end of the bar and you see them going, taste this. And they give it to the other person. I'm like, yeah. because that's a douchebag drink, and I'm not a douchebag bartender. So that's it. National Cocktail Day, National Cheesesteak Day, and National Chocolate Covered Raisin Day. Let's go into what happened today. What all cool and terrible, tragic, memorable things happened on this day. In 1944, World War II was going on in an event that was later dramatized in the movie The Great Escape. 76 Allied prisoners of war began breaking out of the German camp Stalag Luft. Yeah. And The Great Escape. You ever seen that movie? Steve McQueen on the motorcycle. Ding, 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 ding. That is such a great movie. The Great Escape is such a great movie. I will never get my 12-year-old son to watch it. That was made like during the time of our founding fathers. No, it wasn't. They didn't have movies during the time of our founding fathers, stupid. That is not... there are so many. There's a lot of people out there who don't watch old movies, and it's not old. It's actually in color. The Great Escape. It's awesome. The 60s. I think it was made in the 60s. The actual event happened today, though, in 1944. On this day in 1980, El Salvadoran Archbishop Oscar Romero is assassinated while celebrating Mass in San Salvador. That was also a movie. There was also, I don't know what that movie was called, though, because I don't believe I've seen it, but I do remember reading the box at the video store back in like 1992 or whatever. So that happened today. In 1989, in Prince William Sound, remember this one? That's in Alaska. The Exxon Valdez cracked open and spilled 240,000 barrels of crude oil. They get that cleaned up? Is that fine? Is that okay now? I mean, it should be 33 years later, right? That's what we're talking about. 33 years later, I would hope. That was a bad one. That was like one of the first really big, highly publicized environmental disasters of my life, anyway. I guess they didn't publicize them before my life. All right, so that happened today, the Exxon Valdez. In 1998, this is a shitty one. Remember the Jonesboro, Arkansas school shooting? One of the first, but we remember the first few. We remember Jonesboro, Arkansas. We remember Columbine. We remember Paducah, Kentucky. Those are like the first ones in the late 90s, early 2000s. Mitchell Johnson and Andrew Golden, aged 11 and 13, respectively, fire upon teachers and students at Westside Middle School Oh, my God. 5 people are killed and 10 are wounded. So that was in 1998. So that's 24 years ago. Let's see this, huh? Let's are these kids still in jail? I mean, they were 11 and 13. I don't know how I feel about that. I'd have to think about it. Let's see here. Are these kids... okay, here we go. The perpetrators. Let's check in on them. Mitchell Scott Johnson was born in Rochester, Minnesota. Following the shooting, Johnson's attorney claimed that he had been sexually abused when he was 6 or 7 years old. 1 year before the shooting, Mitchell, then age 12, was charged with molesting a 3-year-old girl. Oh, my God. The record of the case was expunged because of Mitchell's age. Okay. Release. Johnson was released from the Federal Correction Institution in Memphis on his 21st birthday in 2005, having spent 7 years in prison. Golden was released also from the Federal Correctional Institute in Memphis in 2007, also his 21st birthday. Okay. That's I'd have to think about that. I got no hot takes. I got no hot takes on an 11-year-old and a 13-year-old who perpetrate such a heinous crime. Well, don't do it now. You've got other things to get to. I know. I don't know how I feel about them being released. I'll have to think about it. I'll have to think about that. Let's see what else. So that was 1998. Oh, this one right here, man. 21 years ago today. This one comes with a little bit of an accompaniment. We'll show you this one. Here. This was crazy. And this dude took all kinds of shit for this. And how are you going to take shit for this? How you can't plan this? Hold on. Is there I guess maybe there's no sound on it. Let's see here. Here we go. 21 years ago today, Randy Johnson did this. The big unit, Arizona Diamondbacks. Joe, my God, do you remember that? Holy crap. People gave him shit. And this was before social media. He didn't do this on purpose. Randy Johnson was on the mound throwing one of them Randy Johnson laser beams, and a bird flew right in the path of the pitch. You don't do that. That's not on purpose. He couldn't have timed that. If he tried to do that a million more times, he'd maybe only do it once. That is crazy timing. Watch that one more time. 21 years ago today. This is insane. Whoa, good. Look at him. He's like, what the hell? Oh, God. Well, that one didn't break. The bird did. Bam! Yeah, that's dead on impact, man. What do you think that bird thought? Whack. Crazy. 21 years ago today, man, Randy Johnson. And then Pena wanted him suspended. And, there was all of that kind of stuff. Like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? How the hell can you blame that? Yeah, the bird was fine. Walk it off, bitch bird. How the hell are you going to blame him for that? You got to blame the bird. It's the bird. It's the bird who did it. He was doing that bird can't see, and why is that? First of all, why is that bird flying so low, so close to people? That would be my question. That bird, there's something wrong with that bird. That bird wasn't a normal bird. Birds don't fly that low, that close to a batter and a catcher and an umpire. That was crazy, though. That's one of the craziest pieces of it. That is timing, folks. Timing. Butterfly effect. Butterfly effect. If that bird had seen a worm and been distracted by 1 second, that bird would have been fine. Although maybe that bird would have then been, maybe the batter would have hit that ball and the bird would have been, wouldn't that have been a cool thing? I don't know. Yeah, it's cool. Fucking birds, man. I'm not going to get all like peated on birds. I like animals, but it's a bird. They'll make more. They're everywhere. Okay, so that was 21 years ago today in 2001. In 2015, now we don't do on this show plane crashes anymore. We used to do all the plane crashes because there's like a dozen plane crashes a day. And today is no exception. There's like a whole bunch of plane crashes. But this one needs to be mentioned because it is sort of timely. On this day in 2015, Germanwings Flight 9525 crashed into the French Alps in an apparent pilot mass murder suicide, killing all 150 people on board. I don't know if you remember when this happened. This was the plane that just drove directly into a mountain, like seemed to square it up perfect, and then just drove right into the mountain. And I guess the pilot, they determined, I don't remember if he left a note or if he'd somehow, but it was pretty much concluded that this pilot did it on purpose. He wanted to kill himself. I remember he was going through like some kind of a marital thing. And the reason that I mention it, and I am not going to mention the other plane crashes, we don't do that anymore because why put that negativity out there? That's my position on it. Because we just had that China plane fall from the sky the other day where it appeared to fly just directly into the ground and nobody can figure out what that's about. And the experts who are investigating it are starting to think that this pilot may have done this on purpose. That pilot may have also, oh God, oh my God, pilot suicide, and it's mass murder. It ain't just suicide. You want to kill yourself, that's fine. That's fine. That's sad for the people who love you, but you know what? That's fine. Don't take other people out just because you're miserable. Come on, I have depression. I would never think to take other people out with me. Why do that? Then you're just a really bad person. Ay, ay, ay. All right, so that happened in 2015. In 2018, just what was that? 4 years ago now. 4 years ago to now, 4 years ago. Students across the United States staged the March for Our Lives, demanding gun control in response to the Stoneman Douglas High School shooting. I remember when that happened. That was when all the high school students in America got up and walked out of their classes and except it wasn't all the high school students. It was like a whole bunch. It was enough. It was enough that, the news covered it and stuff, but everybody didn't do it. All right, here you go. Let's do some birthdays. Oh, we got birthdays. Just a quick one here. I typically don't do people who died a real long time ago or were born a real long time ago. But it's Harry Houdini's birthday. Harry Houdini, the Hungarian-American magician and actor. He died in 1926 on Halloween. Harry Houdini, I mentioned him because when I was a little kid, I was fascinated with Houdini. I saw a movie about Houdini when I was very little, and I just thought that was cool. And I wanted to be a magician. And then I tried to do a couple of card tricks and it was hard and I got tired head and I quit and I went, magic is stupid. And so I've spent the rest of my life basically just with that belief. Magic is stupid. How do you do it? How do you do it? Cool. You tricked me. How do you do it? Not telling you. So you're a dick too. So you tricked me, you're a con man, and you're a dick. You won't help me to not be tricked in the future. You're just gonna give, well, then it would be giving away the magic. Stop it. It's not magic. It's not magic, it's a trick. You know it and I know it. Stop acting like you're something special. That's my take on magic now. I once loved it, decided it was too hard, and now I've become one of the great magic detractors of our era. Born on this day. Here's another one, born and dead, but I wanted to mention him because the other day we mentioned the death of his partner. Happy birthday, Joseph Barbera. We talked about William Hanna dying the other day when it was all as Walter Lantz and William Hanna. It was all these great animators that died the other day. And so we talked about William Hanna dying. So now we're talking about Joseph Barbera dying. Hanna-Barbera. Born on this day, Joseph Barbera. Born on this day in 1911. Born on this day in 1930. Hey, we talked about this. How cool is this? We just talked about The Great Escape. It is Steve McQueen's birthday. Steve McQueen. He's dead too. I know he's dead. Steve McQueen. Coolest guy ever. Steve McQueen is so cool. If you don't know Steve McQueen, because I don't know, he's an old-timey actor. He's not really an old-timey actor. He might still be, no, he wouldn't. Would he still be around 70, 80, 90? He'd be 92. He could be around. He could be Betty White in it, and he'd still be cool. McQueen died young. He died of cancer, like in 1980, I think. Man, McQueen was so badass. He was so awesome. We talked about the movie The Great Escape because it's the day on this day in history, the actual Great Escape that the movie starring Steve McQueen was based on. Man, honestly, if you don't know Steve McQueen, he is awesome. If you ever get a chance to see any documentaries about the life of Steve McQueen, he was just the coolest guy ever. He was just cool, man. He was like a stunt pilot. He was a car racer. He had every fantastic babe of the era on his arm. He was just cool. Oh, and who plays him? Somebody who plays McQueen. Recently, there was a depiction of McQueen that the guy who played him is also a cool guy actor, but not nearly as cool as Steve McQueen. It was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Remember the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the Tarantino movie with Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio? Steve McQueen in that movie was played by Bobby Axe from Billions. Can't remember his name now. Why don't I remember his name? Bobby Axe, if you watch Billions. I can't think of his name, but whatever. He's a cool guy actor too, but he's nowhere near as cool as Steve McQueen. Happy birthday, Steve McQueen. You're missed. Born on this day in 1951, fashion designer, Tommy Hilfiger. Tommy Hilfiger. Is he still a thing? Do we still see? I don't see Hilfiger much anymore. Tommy Hilfiger. Born on this day in 1951. What? Oh, yeah. Okay, I got a little confused here for a minute. Oh, this is sad. Born on this day in 1953, Louis Anderson. Louis Anderson just died. We just lost him a couple weeks ago. Louis Anderson was awesome. Born on this day in 1956, Steve Ballmer, American billionaire, businessman. What was he? Microsoft, right? Wasn't Ballmer Microsoft? Ballmer is one of the dudes, one of the billionaire, one of the 1%er, the mega 1%ers that I think is cool. A lot of these guys are douchebags, right? Steve Ballmer seems really cool. I like Steve Ballmer. I think he seems like if certain people are going to be billionaires, make sure seem like they're good dudes. He seems like he's a good dude. Couple of fabulous babes celebrating birthdays, both born on the exact same day. Woo! God was in a good mood this day. Born on this day in 1960, both Kelly LeBrock and Annabella Sciorra. All right, let's figure this out. First of all, totally two different kinds of smoke show girls. Kelly LeBrock, of course, from Weird Science. She was like, She was like a Pam Anderson type before Pam Anderson. She was just, although she loses points because she was married to Steven Seagal. And I'm sorry, but if you are the type of woman who can put up with that nonsense, that does not reflect well on you. So, although Kelly LeBrock, very, very attractive to my young man eyes, the Steven Seagal thing. Annabella Sciorra, though. Annabella Sciorra. Well, wasn't she also in? Hold on, let me see something here. I know, like Hand That Rocks the Cradle, right? Wasn't that like a big movie that she was? Yeah, Hand That Rocks the Cradle, Copland, Jungle Fever. That's it. And she was Gloria Trillo in The Sopranos. She was so great in The Sopranos as Tony's. Remember, she was the Mercedes car dealer who was crazy, and Tony killed her. Oh, did I just spoil it for you? Well, it's like season 5 or something. I didn't spoil the whole series for you, but yeah, she was one of Tony's gumas in The Sopranos, and she was the one that Tony really liked because she's sophisticated. She sold Mercedes. She was a Mercedes car dealer. Tony thought she was sophisticated. I like her. She's Annabella Sciorra. She played a crazy psycho girl, though, so points deducted. She was too believable as a crazy psycho girlfriend in The Sopranos. Still, though, in their prime, Kelly LeBrock versus Annabella Sciorra. Annabella Sciorra here, Kelly LeBrock here. Yeah, Annabelle. I would, like, let's say, like, I'm like the dude, and it's like, hey, these two chicks want to date you, Kelly LeBrock and Annabella Sciorra. I would choose Annabella Sciorra. I mean, there's no loser in that scenario, except possibly the girls, but you know. All right, so happy birthday, Kelly LeBrock and Annabella Sciorra. You're both just fantastic. Tom Beller says, statuesque was Kelly LeBrock's model type. Annabella Sciorra, very hot, more girl next door. No neighborhood I ever lived in, Tom. Annabella Sciorra was not a girl next door. She looked more like, to me, to my mind, she's more like a sophisticated European fashion model from Paris. That's like a whole different kind of thing. But okay, I see what you're saying. Are you confusing Annabella Sciorra with Marissa Tomei? Because Marissa Tomei was the Italian Meg Ryan. She was like, that's the girl next door type. I don't know. I don't think Annabella Sciorra is the girl next door type. But hey, whatever. Also born on this day in 1965, The Undertaker. American wrestler. One of the biggest wrestlers of all time because I know him. Or I mean, I don't know. I mean, I know who he is. So that's got to mean something. I don't know anything about wrestling. I don't know anything about wrestling except for the wrestlers that I've had the opportunity to interview over the years. And, you know, those are all the ones I like. John Cena is awesome. He's such a nice guy. Mick Foley, such a nice guy. Ric Flair, so funny. Roddy Piper had a breakdown in studio with us that was really weird. But The Undertaker, never interviewed him. But I know who he is. So there you go. Happy birthday, Undertaker. You must be a big star because I know who you are and not because the promotions department at a radio station made me interview you. Born on this day in 1970, the pride of Burbank, Illinois, Laura Flynn Boyle. That's right, Laura Flynn Boyle. We were talking about Annabella Sciorra playing the psycho girlfriend in The Sopranos. Laura Flynn Boyle is apparently a real psycho girlfriend. I remember she dated Jack Nicholson for a bunch of years. He was like 70 and she was like 15. It was weird. It was a very big age difference between the two of them. And what a surprise. It didn't work out. And there were a lot of headaches involved for Jack Nicholson because the super young Laura Flynn Boyle, who he was dating, I don't want to do that. You know, probably a whole lot of that going on. But Laura Flynn Boyle, there you go. South side of Chicago girl. She never did anything other than Twin Peaks, did she? Did she? I don't know. I just know her from Twin Peaks because I'm a Twin Peaks fan. She's very attractive, though. Very, very attractive. Also born on this day in 1971, Tig Notaro. She's a stand-up comedian. She's had her moment about a year ago, and she's got a show, Tig Notaro. Not all that familiar with her. Born on this day in 1973, a couple of people I like. Jim Parsons. He's Sheldon, don't you know, from Big Bang Theory. Houston boy. Texas in the house. Jim Parsons, very, very fun actor, very cool guy. I like him. Born on this day in 1974, Allison Hannigan. Also, didn't Big Bang Theory follow How I Met Your Mother? Allison Hannigan, of course, the star of How I Met Your Mother. Also born in this day, 1976, Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning. So, I know a guy who played on the same team as Peyton Manning in college. And this guy was an offensive lineman for Peyton Manning in college. And this guy hates Peyton Manning, just hates him. Just the stories that I've heard about the entitled jackassery of a 20-year-old Peyton Manning walking around, his college town, just being the cock of the walk. Oh, God, it just ruined everything about Peyton Manning for me. Until recently. And now all of a sudden, I love Peyton Manning now. I don't care. I don't care what he was as a 20-year-old. He seems like he's a lot of fun as a whatever the hell old he is. 76, 6, 7, 8, 46, 44. I don't know. Whatever Peyton Manning is. All right. Do the math, stupid. All right. 46. I was right. I didn't even have to do the math. 46. Hold on. Double check your work. 48. Oh, now I'm confused. All right. 20, 42. 42 and 4. 46. I was right. I love Peyton Manning now. Peyton Manning. Why doesn't Peyton Manning have a sitcom? Shouldn't Peyton Manning have a sitcom? Shouldn't he be on some stupid family sitcom that's built around him on like Friday nights on ABC? Right? I mean, doesn't that seem like it's Peyton's house, or something like that? Fridays on whatever it is. I don't know. Should have someone playing his wife. He should have some kids. Peyton Manning, he's just so likable. And I now, after seeing Peyton Manning be so likable for all of these years, I now wonder if my friend was just full of shit. No, probably not. He probably wasn't. At 20, Peyton Manning probably was insufferable. But maybe now he's cool. All right, we got another birthday here. Save the best for last in this case. Born on this day in 1977. One of my favorite. I'll tell you, there are very few actresses who, if they're in a movie, I don't care what the movie's about. She's in it, I'll watch it. That's Jessica Chastain. Jessica Chastain, born on this day in 1977. Man, do I love Jessica Chastain. Tom says, by the way, how could you blame a 20-year-old Peyton Manning when everyone idolizes you? How could you not act like a jerk? Seems to have matured well. Yeah, he does. He seems to have matured well. However, yeah, I can blame someone for acting like a jerk at 20. I can blame someone for not being so self-aware that they think that they're in touch. By 20, you should understand that the world is an unfair place and that you should be grateful for whatever blessings you've received. I just think that, yeah, I can blame him for that, but I can also credit him for being the public persona that he seems to have created for himself here later in life. Like, I like him. Now maybe, you talk to a PA or somebody who works, and maybe they're like, yeah, that's all an act. He's a dick, which is very often the case with celebrities. But I don't care anymore. I don't care. I like him. I enjoy Peyton Manning. Can we get back to Jessica Chastain? Yes, schizophrenic me, we can. Jessica Chastain. She's great in everything. She's got Miss Sloane, great in that. Molly's Game. You ever seen Molly's Game? Molly's Game is such a good movie. And it's a true story. Molly's Game. Oh, happy birthday, Jessica Chastain. You are a fantastic actress. Possibly the best of your generation. Yeah, I'm saying it. Shut up, Amy Adams. I am saying yes to Jessica Chastain. Deaths. We got a couple of sad deaths. From some incredibly funny people. Died on this day in 2016, and I can't believe it's already been 6 years. I can't believe it's been 6 years. Gary Shandling. Gary Shandling died on this day in 2016. Gary Shandling, like, I don't know that in his lifetime we truly revered him as one of the greats of his era. Nobody would ever like put Gary Shandling in competition with Jerry Seinfeld, but I would. I would. Gary Shandling, if I was to make a list of the 5 funniest television shows I have ever seen in my entire lifetime, Gary Shandling would have 2 of them It's Gary Shandling show, which was, I think, a Showtime show back in the late 80s, early 90s, was brilliantly funny. It was different than everything else. It was so creative. He talked to the camera in between scenes. It was such a terrific show. If you've never seen, because maybe you're too young, or it's Gary Shandling's show. Oh, was that a fantastic show? And then he stopped doing that show. And then he did what I consider to be, and this is funny because of the other person who died today, possibly the funniest 30-minute show of all time, which is the Larry Sanders Show. The Larry Sanders Show on HBO, where Gary Shandling played Larry Sanders, a television talk show host. That was another show that was so wildly creative, so interesting, shot and produced in such a different way than everything else that you saw on television. I mean, hey now, there are so many things, little pop culture nuggets from from the Larry Sanders Show that still exist today that people just say and they don't even know. Anytime you hear someone go, hey now, that's from the Larry Sanders Show. My kid is 12 years old and he says, hey now. He has no idea where that comes from. Just absolutely brilliant. The Larry Sanders Show, I recently, when was it? I think it was after he died. Some platform made the full run. Maybe it's HBO Max. I'm not sure. But some platform made all the Larry Sanders shows available. And I just devoured that series for a second time. I watched 5 episodes a night. That show was so great. Gary Shandling, you are missed, dude. You were one of the absolute great television creators of all time. 2 of the funniest shows I have ever seen. And Gary Shandling's stand-up, it's not like I was a crazy Gary Shandling stand-up fan. He was all right, whatever. He was fine. He was a working, successful stand-up comedian. But his television work is just tremendous. And that brings us to this death. Died on this day 1 year ago today, Jessica Walters. Oh, I talked about the Larry Sanders Show as possibly in my list of the top 5 funniest sitcoms of all time. And I said, I don't know if it's number 1 or maybe it's number 2. And the only reason I'm confused by that is because of Jessica Walters' show, which was, of course, Arrested Development. She was Mama Bluth. She was Lucille Bluth. She was the mom on Arrested Development. And one of the funniest, not one of, the funniest matriarchal characters in the history of situation comedies. The funniest mom in the history of television is got to be Jessica Walter. Don't tell me about Roseanne. Roseanne was funny. She was great. That's fine. Jessica Walters, Lucille Bluth, was hysterical. She died on this day a year. She was also, by the way, another great movie, Jessica Walters, Play Misty for Me. I don't know if you've ever seen that. That was a Clint Eastwood movie from the 1970s where Clint Eastwood played a disc jockey, a midnight romance disc jockey. And Jessica Walters was a caller to his radio show who started stalking him. And every night she'd call, Play Misty for me. Oh, God, is that movie great? And she was a serious actress. I say this, I always say that comedians who go and do drama seem to have more success at it than dramatic actors who try to do comedy. Jessica Walters was a dramatic actress who then went and turned in one of the great comic performances of all time as Lucille Bluth, the mother on Arrested Development. God, she was funny. All right, let's get into some of the things that are trending today. Let's talk about what people are talking about. All right, we'll start with this. KBJ. I'm calling her KBJ because Ketanji Brown Jackson is just too much of a mouthful. And besides, let's be honest, she's going to be known as KBJ. We had Ruth Bader Ginsburg, we had RBG. Now we're going to have KBJ. KBJ is going to be in there. KBJ is still going through her Supreme Court stuff. And I ask you this. She's not political. She's been a judge her entire life. She's just been sitting on the bench. She is wildly respected federal judge. The people on the furthest right of the judicial spectrum, the people who are what you would consider the hanging judges or whatever, the super conservative leaning judges in America have all come out and said this woman is wildly qualified for the Supreme Court. They all say that she should absolutely come on. Let's not get silly, but they're getting silly with her. They're getting silly with her. Why? Why? She's not political. She is a black woman. And I think that it's because she's a black woman, people, dummies out there, are going to see her and go, oh, she's obviously one of these liberal Democrat judges are not political. Okay. When you make it to the Supreme Court, you're not supposed to be political at all. And typically that's what these hearings are for, to make sure that you're not a political animal. She's not. She's a judge. She's an incredibly accomplished and worthy judge. And before all of these things started, people like Lindsey Graham were like, it's going to go quickly. We got no problem. Everybody was saying it's going to go quickly. But now we've got the political theater of the television cameras showing it. And so you got to have idiots like Lindsey Graham and Ted Cruz pointing out that we don't like you because you don't look like someone that we would like. Is that it? Is that honestly it? She has taken a beating, and she has been absolutely awesome through all of it. By the way, let's not kid ourselves. This is political theater. This is judicial theater. There's no chance she's not going to make it. She's going to be confirmed. That's a done deal, which is why it is so maddening that some of these people, some of these senators are taking this opportunity to grandstand to their stupid constituents who don't understand that she's not a Democrat or a Republican. She's a judge, and she has been a judge her entire life, and she's got an incredible record, and they're bringing up stupid shit. I mean, Alan Dershowitz, a guy who I have no respect for. Alan Dershowitz said today on Twitter, he's trending. We're not going to get to him because I was like, yeah, we don't need to talk about him. But here I am talking about him. Alan Dershowitz said today on Twitter that Ted Cruz and Lindsey Graham's questioning of KBJ yesterday was absurd. It was absolutely absurd. They were talking about things so that they could. Lindsey Graham got into child porn, and he completely twisted what she said because he found the moment to have himself a nice little soundbite where he got to go, I think child pedophiles should be in jail. I think I am so flustered. And then he walked out. It's like, well, why did you act? Dude, that's not what she said. Why you just reacted to something that she didn't say, and you're making it seem like she said something she didn't. It's just moronic. So I want to show this. And let me just say, I am no big fan of Cory Booker. I'm not. I think that Cory Booker is a little bit he tries too hard, right? I mean, I don't think he's terrible. I don't put him in a league with like a Josh Hawley or a Lindsey Graham or, God forbid, a Ted Cruz. But I don't have a whole lot of regard for Cory Booker. I did it one time, but then I saw a bunch of things about, stunts that he has pulled. And it's like, come on, man. Come on, dude. But Cory Booker took his time yesterday. And again, this can be seen as a stunt. But after what she had been through, I thought this was absolutely terrific. So let's watch this. This is how Cory Booker used his time yesterday with KBJ during the Supreme Court hearings. Tell me what you think of this.
As Langston Hughes wrote, "Oh, let America be America again. The land that never has been yet, but yet must be the land where everyone is free." Oh, yes, I say it plain. America never was America to me, but I swear this oath, America will be. That is the story of how you got to this desk. You and I and everyone here, generations of folk who came here and said, America, I'm Irish. You may say, no, Irish or dogs need to fly, but I'm going to show this country that I can be free here. I can make this country love me as much as I love it. Chinese Americans first forced into near slave labor, building our railroads, connecting our country, saw the ugliest of America, but they were going to build their home here and say, America, you may not love me yet, but I'm going to make this nation live up to its promise and hope. LGBTQ Americans, from Stonewall women to Seneca, hidden figures who didn't even get their play until some Hollywood movie finally talked about them and how they were critical for us defying gravity. All of these people loved America. And so you faced insults here that were shocking to me. Well, actually not shocking. But you are here because of that kind of love. And nobody's taken this away from me. So you got 5 more folk to go through. 5 more of us. And then you can sit back and let us have all the debates. And I'm going to tell you, it's going to be a well-charted Senate floor because it's not going to stop. They're going to accuse you of this and that. Heck, in honor of your person who shares your birthday, you might be called a communist. But don't worry, my sister. Don't worry. God has got you. And how do I know that? Because you're here. And I know what it's taken for you to sit in that seat. As Langston Hughes...
All right. Performative? Sure. To a degree. That was fucking beautiful. That was beautiful. I don't care. All of my... Look, I tweeted this yesterday. I am cynical to a fault. I roll my eyes at the rising sun every morning. But that was beautiful. That was really beautiful. That was... You made her cry. You made her cry. I mean, that's... Because she has taken a beating. And he just gave her a... But that was... Oh, my God. That was... I don't... I have these feelings about Cory Booker that make me want to just roll my eyes, but I don't care. He killed that performance. He killed it. And I happen to believe it's true. I happen to believe that there are all different kinds of Americans. We're all Americans, but some of us are shaped this way. Some of us have skin color that is this. Some of us, our eyes are shaped in a different way. Some of us have different color hair. Some of us have accents, but we are all Americans. Everybody here is an American. It's not just people who Lindsey Graham is talking to. It's not just people Ted Cruz is talking to. And, look, if you just don't like other Americans, well, that's on you. That's because you just don't like people. Maybe that's something that's going on within you. You have a problem with strangers. You have a problem with people who aren't exactly like you. Whatever, deal with it. But the fact of the matter is that there is no template for what an American is. Americans look all different ways. Americans come from, we are a country. We are a melting pot. Look, the only true American, you want to be honest, the only true North American natives are Indians. That's it. Everybody else, every other one of us, our ancestors came from somewhere else because we wanted to be here in this country. I just thought that was beautiful. I just thought that was absolutely beautiful. So there we go. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time on that. 100K, 100,000. 100,000 is trending. Why is that trending? Well, because the United States is going to accept 100,000 Ukrainian refugees who are fleeing the Russian invasion. This, according to the government, we're taking in 100,000 undocumented, whatever, Ukrainian refugees. And nobody's complaining about it. Nobody's got a problem with it. Nobody cares when it's 100,000 smoke show 6-foot blondes. Nobody cares. It's just going to be, here we go. I just found that interesting. 100,000. We're taking 100,000. There's no pushback on it. There isn't, people in Congress standing up and screaming about how these people don't belong here. No, because it's like 100,000 women and children from a country that has attractive women. And, dare I say it, white skin. That's really what this is about. These Ukrainian refugees are being welcomed here. I saw someone on Twitter. There was some pushback on somebody else who had that same kind of response to this, and I'm happy for it. I think that in the look, we got plenty of land here in the United States. If you've ever driven through Oklahoma, there's plenty of land here. I think that this country, if there are people fleeing some form of oppression somewhere else, and they are looking for a fresh start. I think that's what we're supposed to be about. Now, we need to vet people, but that process can be done later. Get them out of harm's way. Stick them in the middle of, I don't know, Utah, North Dakota, South Dakota. We got 2 of them, and there's nothing but land there. I mean, but Pugs, but that's not where they're going to go. They're going to go to our cities, and they're going to start driving cabs and serving their street food. And yeah, so what? Come on, it's what big cities are about. Big cities are supposed to be a cultural melting pot. I just think that's funny. 100,000 Ukrainian refugees, and more are coming. That's just the first wave. But we are so inconsistent in the things that outrage us, because we were the brown-skinned people are coming on a caravan from Mexico. It's like, okay, all right. That's a problem. That is a problem. I'll give you that. We got to deal with that to some degree. But, let's be consistent. You same people who are so concerned about the porous borders, who don't want the Afghan refugees, who don't want people fleeing Africa, who don't want the people coming up from the southern border. You people who are so upset about that. Why are you so quiet about the Ukrainian refugees? Why? I think that we ought to be cool with everybody. But, what am I? I'm a pie-in-the-sky moron. I don't know. U.S. cities are trending. This is fun. After the first full year of the pandemic, major U.S. cities have been seeing declines where other major American cities have been seeing rises. After returning to Metro San Francisco following a college football career, Anthony Gusti felt like his hometown was passing him by. The high cost of living, driven by constantly transforming tech industry, earned that. I can't even read this. Anyway, so a whole bunch of cities are losing people. New York City is leading the way. San Francisco is second. San Francisco is a ridiculously expensive city. It's a beautiful city. It's got earthquakes, it's like a beautiful home right next to the expressway. It's like, yeah, it's a beautiful home, but it's right next to the expressway. Can't we drop the price a little bit? San Francisco doesn't seem to have that problem with real estate, even though the real estate is going to be sucked into the ocean any day now. We all know this. We all know that San Francisco but San Francisco's crazy expensive. Los Angeles has been losing, and Chicago, the largest cities, the 4 largest cities in America, have seen significant population declines over the past couple of years. What cities are rising? Houston. Houston is booming with people from New York, with people from California, with people from Chicago, with people from Dallas, Fort Worth is booming with people from New York, with people from California, with people from Chicago. Although I'm grandfathered in, right? I came before this whole thing started. I was here for 20 years before this whole thing. Well, almost 20. 15 years. I was here a long time before all this started. I came back not because of any of this new stuff. I came back because of my kid, and because honestly, I prefer it here. The pandemic intensified population trends of migration to the south and to the west, as well known. Phoenix is booming. Let's see here. San Jose, from 2020 to 2021, San Jose, Boston, Miami, and Washington areas lost tens of thousands of residents, primarily from people moving away. On the flip side, the Dallas area grew by more than 97,000 residents. Phoenix jumped by more than 78,000 people, and Greater Houston added 69,000. Texas has a thing about it, a romantic thing with cowboys. And there's the idea here of the Lone Star State, said Jesty in describing the lure of Texas. The U.S. Census Bureau's vintage 2021 estimates also showed micro areas defined as having a core city of less than 50,000 residents gaining population from mid-2020 to mid-2021. After years of slow growth or declining population, the small population gains were driven by people moving there. As deaths continued to outpace births in many of these communities, growth in micro areas was led by Kalispell, Montana, which is booming, Jefferson, Georgia, which is booming, and Bozeman, Montana. Well, as I was saying in the earlier, about the refugees, they ain't got nothing but land up there. They got nothing but place. There is clearly a dispersion, but I think it's a blip. said senior fellow at the Brookings Institute's Metropolitan Policy Program. We're at one of the lowest levels of immigration in a long time. Yeah, well, that's about to change. And that affects big metros like New York, Los Angeles, and Chicago. That is going to come back. With the natural decrease, we will go back to normal. Okay. Pittsburgh and Tampa had the largest natural decreases of U.S. metropolitan areas in the range of 10,000 residents each. Pittsburgh's overall population declined by almost 14,000 residents because people left. But the Tampa area, here's another thing that I think is happening, which explains a lot of this. We have the baby boom generation, which is a very large generation of Americans. The baby boom generation is now retiring. They are, well, many of them are already retired, but they are retiring and they are moving into a different stage of their life. And they are coming to states like Texas for a multitude of reasons. For the ones that I can tell you, my baby boomer mom is done with the Midwest. She has put in her X amount of years with, blizzards in the winter and sub-zero freezing. She's retired now. She's engaged to a wonderful man. They're gonna have some fun the next 20 years or so of their lives together. And they don't want to deal with that nonsense anymore. And they're also, I'm not speaking to them specifically in this case, but there are states like Texas that have no income tax. No, you know what I mean? The taxes here, there's no state taxes. So when you're retired and maybe you've got this nest egg, you want to take it out of a place like Cook County, Illinois, that, is just insane about how they tax you. So, I mean, you have the baby boom migration. That's going to count for a lot of stuff. There are a lot. You drive around the Texas area, like if you drive between Texas and say Waco, you see all of these older like retirement facilities now. And I'm not talking about nursing homes. I'm not talking about retirement homes or anything like that. I'm talking about gated communities where, people are living. People are moving into, and they're not expensive homes. They seem very nice because it's an older clientele without kids who, keep up their lawns and, stuff like that. But you see, it's booming. It's booming. You go up north, you go up towards Denison in the Red River. You go up that way on 75 and you see all of that stuff as well. So, I mean, yeah, the idea that people are leaving the large American legacy cities of New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, and San Francisco has a lot to do with stuff other than, I'm just tired of Democratic mayors, the way Fox News will tell you. I mean, that's not really. And that's the other thing about this. A liberal from Boston who has been a liberal in Boston their whole life isn't going to move to Texas and suddenly start voting for Ted Cruz. All right. So, yes, it's growing, but that also means that there's going to be some changes. There is, that's all I'm saying. I just don't, I love the idea that, look, I've always loved Dallas. I think Dallas, I'm one of these people that would like to be quiet about Dallas. You know what I mean? Shut up. It's pretty great. It's and I know when you live here, it's like, it's not great. Well, I've lived elsewhere. It is pretty great. It is pretty great compared to, some of the nonsense that you see in Chicago, let's say. And I don't know that I want right now. What is Dallas as far as the metro areas, major market metro areas, as far as media goes? Because that's what I was always concerned in. Dallas is a major market. There are 5 major markets in America. The major markets are New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, San Francisco, and Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Those are the 5 major markets. And that's why I was always very proud that my radio career was only major market. I only worked in Chicago and worked in Dallas. I'm a major market broadcaster. And, in the world of radio, that actually does kind of mean something. It's like I played in the pros, but I never played minor league ball. It's like that whole thing. So I've always been proud of Dallas's size in that regard. And Dallas is growing. If you look at the numbers, Dallas-Fort Worth is going to pass San Francisco and Chicago within the next 20 years. If this growth continues, the way it is. This Metroplex here is massive. I mean, you go all the way out to Fort Worth, and people might think, oh, so you got Dallas on one side, and then you got Fort Worth on the other side, and then what? Just a whole bunch of like Longhorn steer in between? No. In between, we've got a collection of 100,000 plus suburbs in between. It is dense. And the outlying areas, man, I mean, you keep going north, you go up 75. When I first moved here back in 2001, it all stopped basically at like Frisco. Frisco was starting to be a thing, but man, if you were in Frisco, it's like, I don't want to go all the way to Frisco. Jesus, why do you have to move that far? Now Frisco is close compared to McKinney, Allen, Murphy. I mean, you go all the way up now. You got Little Elm. Hell, I bought a house in Little Elm. That's booming. All the way up to Denton, all the way on 75, all the way up to Sherman Denison. It is booming. There is room to grow. So I guess I'm working this out as I say. I don't know how I feel about it. I am happy that people are moving here. But I'm also not a native Texan. I'm also someone who moved here. And I know some of my native Texans friends. Well, you're okay. I like you. But I tell you, if I see another New York City license plate, stop it. Just stop it. Vote for your liberal causes. I mean, you're okay. I mean, you're just, as long as it's just you, you're fine. But, first of all, I'm not a liberal. I'm a center. I'm a center guy. I hate people on the right and I hate people on the left, which means that everybody hates me, which means that everybody hates me. I lean a little bit more left than I do right, but hey, because I'm college educated. Whoa! Good Lord, did he really take that shot? He did, kinda. All right. There you go. I'm kidding. That was a joke. That was me being condescending and crude for humor. I don't believe that. Okay, but speaking of college educated, Declaration of Independence is trending today. You know why the Declaration of Independence is trending today? Oh my God. We got another one of these. We keep electing stupid people. Remember, we had the congressperson, and that's all I'm going to say, just congressperson. Remember, we had the congress lady who didn't know that the term was Gestapo. And she said that the federal government were acting like gazpacho police. Remember that lady? Dumb lady. That's a dumb person mistake. That's not a slip of the tongue. That's a dumb person mistake. She said it confidently. She didn't immediately correct herself. She thought that Hitler's jackbooted thugs were actually called gazpacho. They thought that that's a soup, okay? Gazpacho is a cold soup. Gestapo is the word you were looking for. But stupid Congress lady, because we don't elect intelligent people. Stupid Congress lady called it gazpacho police. Then we had another stupid Congress lady the other day who read a fake letter, and it was obviously fake because she referred to the person writing her this heartfelt letter about how wonderful you are. She referred to this person as the mother of a dead soldier who held the rank of lieutenant corporal. Oh God. There's no such thing as a lieutenant corporal. There's no such thing as the gazpacho police, and there's no such thing as the lieutenant corporal. Those aren't things that exist. Those aren't things that well-educated people say. Before we get into this next one that happened today, which is why Declaration of Independence is trending. A couple of years ago, maybe like 10, 15 years ago, it started to be a negative to be in politics and be seen as an elite, right? If you went to Yale or Harvard, or you're one of them Ivy League elitists. And look, I think that those people suck too. But the ones that actually can graduate from those schools and then go on and pass the bar and do all these like impressive things, those are things that I cannot do. And I always say this. I think I'm a fairly bright person. I'm fairly well read. Anybody that would elect me to the presidency of the United States is an idiot because I couldn't do that job. I don't have, and neither do you. That's the thing. Anybody listening right now, none of you could be president of the United States. I could do that job. That job seems easy. you would quit after 3 weeks on the campaign trail. Do you have any idea the level of discipline, the exhausting nature of the entire process? My God. And then, have you ever seen a president's schedule? I mean, not the last guy, because the last guy didn't really keep a schedule, but a true president's schedule, whether it was George W. Bush, Ronald Reagan, Barack Obama, doesn't matter. A true president's daily schedule is enough to kill a field mule. It is insane. You wake up early in the morning, you got to talk to this guy. First of all, I don't even like talking on the phone. I know I got to talk to people with accents, and there's translators, and I don't know what's going on. And then that's only good for 10 minutes, because then I got to go over and I got to meet with these people at a pancake breakfast and say some stupid speech, blah, blah, blah. And then I got to rush back. It is an insane work. I couldn't handle it, and neither could you. And we all need to stop thinking that I could do that, because we're getting these people who are now Congress people, who are supposed to be representing our best interests, who are just less than you and me. They want to be famous. And they now see, with social media, they now see that Hollywood isn't just on the West Coast anymore. Hollywood is now also on the Potomac River. Hollywood is also right there in Washington, D.C. You can just go there and be famous. You know what? And I don't care. Look, we can be talking about the Marjorie Taylor Greens, Lorraine Boberts, we even talk about the Alexandria Ocasio-Cortezes. I don't think any of these people are qualified to do these incredibly important jobs. But then we've got this Declaration of Independence. But we vote for them because they're just like us. Do you remember the argument from a few years ago where it was, I just want someone that I can have a beer with? No, you don't. No, you don't, because the people that you have a beer with are stupid. You don't want to elect somebody who knows everything from geopolitical tensions in every corner of the world, to how the actual economy of the United States works, to how the infrastructure of this country is in peril. You don't want to have a beer with that person. That person sucks to hang out with, but that person is important to doing the jobs that you and I can't do. So why is Declaration of Independence trending? Because a United States Senator, Marsha Blackburn, sent out a tweet today where she said, the Constitution grants us the rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, not abortions. Once again, Senator Blackburn said, the Constitution grants us the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, not abortions. Fuck! This is a United States Senator, okay? No, the Constitution doesn't do any of that shit. That's the Declaration of Independence, you moron. That is junior high level American history. The Constitution. Stop about the Constitution. You know why? Because the Constitution is a buzzword for dumb people. Dumb people don't know shit about the Constitution, but they hear the word Constitution, they go, yeah, oh, take my guns, or whatever. Whatever the single issue that they're really involved. They don't know anything about the rest of the Constitution. And now you've got a sitting United States Senator who doesn't know basic Americanism. And that's what that is. The right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is it's Thomas Jefferson. It's the Declaration of Independence. Constitution is an evolving document that came years later, that things were added to. It's a totally different thing, but whatever, same thing. We got to get rid of these stupid people. You know what we need? We need to elect nothing but people who would be the worst people at the party. You know, the boring guy, the guy that's the nerd in the corner, with the calculator or whatever. That's who we need running shit, because we keep electing people like us. And trust me, we can't do the job. All we're again, Hollywood by the Potomac. That is the lure of this modern era of political animal. They just want to be famous. Politicians are supposed to suck. They're supposed to suck because they're smart. They're supposed to suck because they're capable. They're supposed to suck because they would be terrible at a backyard barbecue, because they're weird, they're awkward, and they're just fucking only drilled down on these really boring subjects. But no, we want fun people now. We want people we have beer with because they're just like us. Yeah, well, you are shit. You, me, we're all not capable of running the free world. We're just not. Take a look in the mirror. You're not. I don't care who you are. That's it. I could be president. No, you really couldn't. I used to ask that to people. Honestly, do you think, if things, broke in a crazy way and suddenly you found yourself in the Oval Office, do you think you could be president of the United States? Do you think that you could be the leader of the free world? Do you think that you have what it takes to do that job effectively? I mean, anybody could do it. You could do it and be bad at it. You could do it and just not do it right, sure. But do you think you could actually do the job? If you say yes, you are delusional. Unless, you're one of those rare people who are of a different level. Man, most of us couldn't even get out of junior college. Are you kidding me? Most of us barely got out of high school. All right, so that's enough. That's why Declaration of Independence is trending, because a United States senator doesn't know the difference between the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. The U.S. men's team, that's trending as well. Soccer boys. Apparently, it's the biggest week of our lives. The USA try to clinch a spot in the World Cup. Is today? I don't know. Can we not be embarrassed like we were last time around? What was it, 2016, 2018, whatever, 2017, when we didn't even qualify? The United States didn't even qualify for the World Cup. And, I'm old enough that I go back to like the 1980s and the 1990s when the United States soccer teams sucked and we were like, well, it's not our sport. It's a foreign sport. We don't need to be good. It's a foreign sport. But then, like, every town in America built shit tons of soccer fields. They're everywhere. Soccer fields are everywhere. The town I grew up in, Orland Park, Illinois, there's a massive cornfield. They just paved it and built like 15 soccer fields in like 1992. Those things have been there since my point is this. Shouldn't we be better at soccer by now? Shouldn't America be better at soccer? I understand back in the 80s when nobody played soccer and it was just a weird foreign game and all that, but it's not a weird foreign game anymore. The person that I do the Pillow Talk show with at 9:00 played soccer in college. An American kid who played soccer in college. He's a soccer guy. My son's mother, it was a standout soccer girl. She played soccer all her... Why aren't we better, is my point. Why isn't the men's U.S. soccer team dominating at this point? It's been like 30 years. And now it's like, can we barely make it to the World Cup? Please, fingers crossed. We got knocked out. We got knocked out of the World Cup. We didn't even qualify for the World Cup. We got knocked out in the qualifiers the last time around. We lost. You know who we lost to? We lost to Trinidad and Tobago. Trinidad and Tobago knocked the United States men's World Cup soccer team out of the World Cup. Trinidad and Tobago. There are more people on this block that I'm currently living in than exist in Trinidad and Tobago. It is a tiny island nation, and they beat the United States. One of the most powerful, massive, large, 400 million people, whatever it is that we got in this country now, a tiny little island knocked us out of World Cup contention. We need to be better. How can it not be our thing? We're good at everything else. We are competitive. Every year you see the Olympics. We are competitive in absolutely every other realm of competition. But for some reason, soccer, we are not getting better at soccer. With that said, we've got a big game today, so let's go. Let's go, Team America. I'll root for them. Hey, look, if they get good, I'll root for them. I remember rooting for the women's team, when they got good, when they shocked the world. I just feel like we should be better at soccer. All right, what else is trending? Brittany Griner, speaking of women's basketball. You weren't speaking of women's basketball. Yeah, I know. Brittany Griner is trending. Of course, she's the WNBA player who is being held in Russia because she tried to leave the country with weed. Even though it's illegal there, she still tried to leave the country with weed. I'm sorry. I feel bad for her. It's a terrible thing that she's going through, but she tried to leave a country with weed where weed was illegal. And that's on her, man. That is on her. Now, she's also a political pawn because of what's going on between Russia and the Ukraine and all of these things that America is levying at Russia. So she is bad time to try and sneak through a Moscow airport with weed. Especially when you're sort of high profile, and she's sort of high profile. She's more high profile now, but she was a name that I knew. She was a standout women's basketball player. Couldn't recognize her in a crowd. She's like 7 foot tall. Okay, so she would stand out in a crowd, but I wouldn't know that that's Brittany Griner. But I knew the name. If somebody said, "Oh, that's Brittany Griner," I'd go, "Oh yeah, I've heard that name before." So U.S. consulate sent some people over to see Brittany Griner, where she's being held there in a Russian jail, and they say she looks fine. She's okay. She seems to be okay. She's not being tortured. She's not on a rack. She's not being starved or anything like that. So that's good to know. It's good to know that she seems to be in good health. And that's it. There's nothing else to report other than now we have seen her and we know that she's okay, and that but still, she's going to be there a long time, man. She's on this war ain't ending anytime soon, and Putin's government ain't doing us any favors. There is no way. JBM says, do you think Russians wouldn't be past planting stuff on Brittany? I don't know. That is a very real possibility. I don't know. All I know, you know what? God, now you got me thinking about that. I mean, here I am. I've been thinking that she just got sloppy with her, trying to bring. Why? Okay, so I get why you'd have weed cartridges there, but she's coming back to America. There's it's like a million places in America you can buy those things legally. Not here in Texas. And by the way, that is the way to smoke weed now. And because you're not smoking it, you're vaping it. You're not burning all the carbons into your lungs. It's not like cigarette smoking. It's not bad. It's a little different high, but you'll get used to it and it's fine. Cartridges, oil cartridges in a vape pen. I don't know. That's a very good. She makes more. Tom says she makes millions of dollars a year playing there. She makes more playing in Russia in the off season of the WNBA than she does playing in the WNBA. So, Adam says, I just finished the first season of Americans. Russia and the U.S. they're capable of anything. Yeah, Adam, I'm so glad that you're watching the Americans. I don't know if you'd ever seen that before, but I suggested yesterday that people watch that when we were talking about Kerry Russell's birthday. That, The Americans, is a fantastic series. You should check that out on Hulu. I think it's on. Yeah, because it was an FX show and all the Hulu stuff is on FX. Okay. Here's a funny one. All right. Neil Schon was trending earlier today. He's not trending now, but he's Neil Schon, the guitar player from Journey. Ooh, he is married to a piece of work. Of course, Neil Schon has a smoke show, hot blonde, big boobed, fake looking woman. That's his wife. Neil Schon is trending because he and his wife had a lawsuit that was thrown out by a judge. It's a lawsuit that's been going on forever. Let me tell you what happened. Okay, so Neil Schon's wife, I'm just looking at a picture of her here. Oh, does she seem like a handful? I'm just looking. She's beautiful. Dime a dozen beautiful. Like, there is nothing specifically outstanding about her beauty. It's just, blonde, tall, young looking, pretty, like a blonde model, a dime a dozen California girl. She looks like a Real Housewife. Like one of those Real Housewives. She's pretty, but there's nothing like exceptionally different about her beauty. There are millions of other girls that are as beautiful as her, and they're all married to successful men, whether they're your local doctor or some guy who played pro soccer for 10 years, or maybe an offensive lineman. She's a pretty girl. She's married to Neil Schon. This one is married to Neil Schon. But apparently she was at a concert where Journey was playing, and she ran up to the side of the stage to take some pictures of her husband. And she didn't have her laminate on. So she was just a woman running up to the stage. And the security that was hired to protect Journey from people running up to the side of the stage grabbed her and escorted her away. Okay. They didn't tackle her. They didn't injure her. They just stopped her during a concert from running up to the side of the stage and taking pictures of her husband. She did not, and this is very important, she did not have any of the badges on that she's supposed to be wearing. That would tell the security guards, oh, okay, she's with the band. She's allowed to be here taking these pictures. Fort Wayne, Indiana, a lawsuit in which Journey guitarist Neil Schon and his wife made assault and battery accusations against a security guard during a Memorial Coliseum show is now over. A Superior Court judge dismissed the suit on Tuesday, stating in court paperwork that Schon and his wife, Michaela Schon, repeatedly failed to appear at hearings when required to. They also failed to participate in the discovery process, according to court documents and the judge. They ruled that the couple was also in contempt of court. By their failure to cooperate in this reasonable discovery process and their twice consecutive failure to obey the court's order to appear, the plaintiffs have plainly demonstrated their lack of interest in pursuing this litigation. Judge Craig Bobet wrote in his order dismissing the case. The Shons filed the suit against concert promoters, a security company, a security guard, and the Memorial Coliseum shortly after a show in 2017. So Neil Schon, on behalf of his wife, is suing everybody that made it possible for him and his stupid haircut to get up there on stage. You're suing. That's not a good look, dude. Suing the security guards who are supposed to take care of you because your wife is a bitch, because your wife is an entitled bitch who wasn't wearing the proper credentials to be doing what she thought she could do. What do you mean you don't know who I am? I am Neil Schon's wife. Bitch, I don't even know who Neil Schon is. That's him. In the suit, wait till you hear what she claimed. This is why I say she's a total piece of work. In the suit, Michaela Schon claimed a security guard for ESG Security assaulted and battered her as she approached the stage to take photos of the band. She was not wearing proper accredited medallions given out to band. Okay, so we already said that. Here's what she suffered. This is why they're suing the security guards who take care of her husband in the band. Here's what she suffered. She suffered mental trauma. She suffered humiliation. She suffered mortification. She suffered fright and indignity. You bitch. Get over it, you bitch. Are you kidding me? First of all, what is mortification? You were already humiliated and frightened. Why did you have to add mortification? I was mortified that everyone doesn't know how important I am and that. So there you go. The judge also ruled that the Shons now must pay all the court costs from the other attorneys who have been going through. Apparently, after 3 years, they're like, "Are you over it, babe?" "Yeah, I'm over it." And so they just stopped. Okay, look, Neil Schon's a very rich guy. They made a lot of money. Made a lot of money with Journey over the years. He's a very highly regarded guitar player in rock and roll circles. He's gonna be fine. Ross Rubio says, I suffered all that shit in high school and didn't sue one goddamn person. That's right. April says, this is the same woman that snuck into a White House dinner back in 2009 with Obama. Yes, it is. And I should have mentioned that. Michaela was a member of the Real Housewives of DC. And I called her a Real Housewives, but I probably should have added that. So yeah, if you remember, she snuck in to an Obama dinner at the White House and tried to get somebody fired. I don't remember how that whole thing shook out, but this is not the first time that she has been an entitled, obnoxious bitch. Do you truly think the Obamas even know who Journey is? Now, if you were married to a member of Earth, Wind, and Fire, maybe. The Obamas do not know Journey. It's not there. Stop acting like you belong there. Let's see. Yes, and Leslie Collins also points out that she left her husband that she was married to during the Real Housewives of DC back then. She just ran off with Neil Schon from Journey. She just ran off with him. It's not racist. It's not racist. Have you ever seen Barack Obama's playlist? Barack Obama loves funk. He loves classic 70s funk. There is absolutely no Journey on that playlist. They don't know Journey. They don't like Journey. It's a fact. Look it up. You're the racist, Byron. All right, here's another crazy person. John Stockton. John Stockton is trending today because in a YouTube video that John Stockton is one of these no-vax guys, and that's fine. That's fine. We're past that. We're done with that. That's fine. You know what? We've made it through. We've made it through. We're done. I have moved on. I have look, I was never particularly, ratcheted up by people who didn't want to get the vax anyway, but a lot of people were, and whatever, doesn't matter to me. I got vaxxed. I'm double vaxxed and boosted. Never again. I got so sick after the boosting. I'm done. I'm done with it. I don't know. We'll revisit it when it comes time. But John Stockton from the Utah Jazz. Remember Stockton and Malone? Man who will die completely unfulfilled because of the presence of my 1990 Chicago Bulls. John Stockton and Karl Malone might have a couple of NBA championship rings if it wasn't for my Chicago Bulls. So piss off, John Stockton. Go cry in your Wheaties, dude. John Stockton is an anti-vaxxer, and that's fine. And he made here's the backstory on it. So John Stockton lives on the campus of Gonzaga. That's weird. John Stockton went to Gonzaga. Had played his entire career with the Utah Jazz. I don't know, entire career. The bulk of his career. He might have played like 1 year with somebody else. But he was a Utah Jazz great. One of the great Utah Jazz players of all time. John Stockton. He was tremendous. You can't take that away from him. But then after his pro career was over, he moved back to his college town. Okay, that says a little something about you, at least the way I decipher people's weirdness in their heads. So John Stockton moves back to Gonzaga because he wants to be the big man on campus forever. And he's been banned this season from attending Gonzaga basketball games because Gonzaga's they have the vaccine mandates. You can't come in and watch a game. So he made a whole big thing about that. But John Stockton made a YouTube video recently, and it's no longer there. I tried to get it, and it's been taken down. It's been taken down by either him or YouTube. And I think after the blowback, I think maybe he took it down because somebody got with him and said, you have nobody sponsoring you for anything anymore, right? You know that your reputation, you were always a quiet guy. You were a blank slate in the eyes of, American marketing people. You could have been any number of things, but now you're kind of showing yourself to be a bit of a crazy person, John. So, so maybe he took it down. And why did he take it down? Because John Stockton made a YouTube video where he claims to have a list of hundreds. John Stockton claims to have a list of hundreds of vaccinated athletes who have dropped dead during competition because of their vaccination, and that it's being covered up. Man, this is like QAnon stuff. John Stockton claims hundreds of is it professional? No, I remember originally like months ago when he first said, he said professional athletes, but now it says claims to have a list of hundreds of vaccinated athletes who have dropped dead during competition, and it's being covered up. How do you cover that up? How do you cover that up in this era of Reddit and social media and absolutely everybody having a phone? A guy twists his ankle on a football field and there's 100 people in the stands John Stockton is claiming to have a list of hundreds of athletes who have just dropped dead during competition from being vaccinated. That's what's wrong with him? That's an insane thing to think could absolutely, that can't it's not, I don't know of any. I mean, every time somebody dies during a sporting event, it becomes a huge bit of news. It becomes hundreds, John Stockton claims. He has a list of, well, I don't doubt that he has a list. Is that list accurate? I guess that's the question. You fired. You fired is trending because the White House has told Dr. Oz and Herschel Walker that they need to resign from the President's Council on Fitness. You fired. There you go. So that's a thing that happened. Here's something that's interesting. SAT and ACT is trending. SAT and ACT. Now, when I went to high school, I thought like SATs, I guess I don't know what it is here in Texas, but in Illinois, where I went, Chicago area, where I went to high school, SATs were something that like we only saw or heard referenced on television or in movies, like anchovies on pizza. Like I grew up in a pizza capital. I worked in pizza restaurants for years and years. I've never seen anyone order anchovies on a pizza. But yet, you watch movies, people are always like, "Can we get anchovies on that?" And I'm like, "That's not a thing. That's not a real thing. People don't put fish on pizza." Well, that's what I thought SAT was. SAT was not a real thing to me. We didn't have, and where I come from, we had the ACT. The ACT was the test that you studied for to get into college. Colleges were interested in the ACT. I never heard anybody sweat the SATs other than on television shows. But anyways, the SAT and the ACT are now trending because the nation's largest 4-year university system has dropped SAT and ACT from their admission requirements. That's California. California universities in California will no longer reject people because of low ACT or low SAT scores. And I think this is incredible. I think this is great. This is totally great because college is not like high school. Your performance in college, look, if you can't hack it, you can't hack it and you're going to get drummed out anyway. At least the university is going to get you tuition. Why are you turning down people who want to give you 20 grand? They want to give you 20. If a dude wants to give you 20 grand for a year and then they're not going to do anything and then you're just going to kick them out, who gets hurt? Who is hurt by that? The dummy gets his college experience for at least a year. He doesn't go to class. He phones it. This whole, I always thought that this was weird. Now, if you wanted to use these tests to decide what level of courses they could have or should be placed in, that's fine. That makes sense. All right, smart people over here, dummies over here. That's fine too. I mean, and beside, it's not like athletes. We've been sort of just sliding dumbass athletes through college systems for years. All right. So, and you're doing that for free. You're just letting them, because they perform well on a court or on a field. If some idiot's rich dad wants to blow 20 grand on his kid not being up to snuff for the college, let him do it. Let him do it. They're citing, obviously, that's not the reason that they're saying California is getting rid of it. They're saying that the SAT and ACT tests, they're not even-handed. They don't. There are different people from different communities, whether it's like rural folk from Oklahoma or urban people from inner city. They don't. The SAT and the ACT is said to be geared towards people who have a fairly homogenized suburban upbringing, and they're saying that it's just not fair. That it doesn't. The questions that they're not. So they're saying we're getting rid of it. And we're just gonna let anybody, and that is fine. That is fine. Everybody gets accepted. Cash, cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Cash those tuition checks. And if you can't hack it, you don't get to stay. Ultimately, whether or not you, like someone who scores really badly on an ACT test, they might get their chance in college and crush it because college is where they bloom. College is where they discover what it is that they're really interested in. This whole idea that, because you're not perfectly ready when you graduate high school, you shouldn't be allowed to further. That's bullshit. That is total bullshit. And once again, who gets hurt? Nobody gets hurt. Byron says, permission to use the soundbite of "You're the racist, Byron" as my ringtone. Yeah, absolutely. Tom Beller says, SAT was on the coasts. ACT was in the middle, but now most high school students take the SAT. Plus, we didn't know anyone going to Ivy League schools, Pugs. They would have taken SAT. That's true. I don't think I know it. I know people now who went to Ivy League schools, but not in high school. I didn't know anybody who went to. I knew one kid who went to Notre Dame. No, that's not true. I knew people who went to Northwestern, Notre Dame, and the University of Chicago. Those were impressive. Those were smart kids. Those were, yeah, no, I don't think I knew anybody who went to Harvard. Tom and I went to high school together. Actually, Tom and I didn't go to high school together. Tom and I were friends in high school, but we went to different high schools. Tom and I went to elementary school together. All right. Uber is trending as well today. Why is Uber trending? Uber and New York City taxi services have reached a deal. You can now hail New York City taxis through the Uber app. This is coming in spring. It is spring. They're weeks away. All they've got to do is integrate the taxi thing into the Uber system in New York City, which is really good because in big cities that have major taxi services, Chicago, East Coast cities, Chicago, New York, Boston, Philadelphia, places like that. Like here in Texas, you have to call a cab. Like if you want to, if you're too drunk at the bar on Saturday night, you got to ask the bartender to call you a cab and they'll call you a cab. But in other, Northwest major American cities, you just step outside the bar and there's a cab coming. And you just, right, and you get in the cab. New York City cabs, is it 100,000 cabs or something like some ridiculous amount? They've been fighting with Uber for a decade now. And there's been restrictions on the Uber app in New York City. And so finally Uber said, look, fine. What if we include cabs on the app? And they went, huh? Okay, now you're talking. So you will, starting in a matter of weeks, because they say this spring, you'll be able to hail yellow. It's yellow cabs, not checker. Sorry, checker. Yellow cab. It's like when two people do a crime and the one who talks first is the one who gets the spoils. The one who talks first is the one who gets the lesser punishment. That's what Yellow did. Yellow and Checker were both going at it with Uber, and Yellow talked first. Yellow went, yeah, we'll take the deal. And then Checker's like, hey. Sorry, Checker cabs. So that's why Uber is trending. This is trending, but only for like a couple of people who I know who listen to this show. So here you go. My one friend I know who watches this show was probably affected by this. CTA, Chicago Transit Authority. There's a big problem on the Brown Line of Lakeview. He lives in Lakeview. So probably a big issue with him getting to work today. He works downtown. He takes the train. They had hours and hours of delays. People missed work because there's something fell on the tracks. They're not saying what. They're saying that there was an incursion on the tracks. Some people are saying that it was like a foam pole that fell on the tracks or something. But during rush hour, so we're talking about tens of thousands of people that were on the Brown Line, the Brown Line and Red Line. Okay, here's the update. Brown Line trains are running again. Red Line service is still suspended in Lakeview. All right, so big cluster F with the trains. There's a lot of offices that people showed up late today because, that didn't work. Energy vampire is trending. Now, this is fun. This is, do you know what an energy vampire is? Byron says he's constantly having problem with the old Brown Line. Might I suggest more roughage in your diet? Energy vampire is trending. This is a story that comes, it's a Yahoo story? Or, no, okay, well, was tweeted out by CNN. Workplace energy vampires can drain your life force. Stop them with these tips. Do you know what energy vampires are? I had never heard the term energy vampire until I started watching What We Do in the Shadows, which is such a funny show. It's another one that you can find on Hulu. It's on FX. Like they're in between seasons right now, so the new season's probably coming. I don't know, summer sometime. But What We Do in the Shadows is of the shows that are currently in production. I think it's the funniest sitcom on television, and it's about a group of vampires who are living together. And they're participating in a reality show where, the cameras are following them around. It's like, imagine the real world, except these are vampires. These are like, 1,000-year-old vampires who still live and walk among us. And it's how they integrate into modern society. It's very funny. One of the roommates is not a traditional vampire. One of the roommates is Colin Robinson. Colin Robinson is an energy vampire. And I had never heard the term energy vampire until What We Do in the Shadows. And by the way, I read this entire article about how to deal with workplace energy vampires, and not once do they reference Colin Robinson or What We Do in the Shadows, which is bullshit, because that's where this whole thing, look, they could have said, maybe you've heard of them from it's all just one sentence, just throw a bone to the people who popularized the concept of energy vampires. Although we all have them. We all know what energy vampires are. Energy vampires are, I'll give you a couple examples. They're the people that you work with who stop you from doing your work. Maybe you're in your cubicle and you're just doing your thing, and then they come over and they just hang out on your cubicle and they tell you shit about their cat. They tell you shit about, yeah, my boyfriend, he's such a jerk. They just drain you. And then the concept with the energy vampire is that they're real vampires and they are draining your life force. That's what they're doing. They don't feed by sucking your blood. They feed by sucking your soul. They feed by boring you. Energy vampires are also the people that when you're in a terrible meeting, oh boy, I can think of one very well-known energy vampire from my radio history in this town. But you know when you're in a meeting with people and it's a boring meeting and you're in the conference room and it's the whole office that's in there and they're talking about really boring shit and you're about to be done and it's about to end, it's almost over. And then the energy vampire raises their hand and asks a question and you're like, holy shit! Really? And it's like a really dumb question. And then they engage for a little bit longer and all you want to do is leave. You just want to get out. This sucks. That's an energy vampire. Here, I'll give you an example. I got an example. This is Colin Robinson. This is who I believe to be the original energy vampire who got no credit in this show. This is an example of an energy vampire. Okay. What? That ain't right. Yeah, here we go. Okay.
My name.
Hold on. We'll show you.
My name is Colin Robinson.
Nope. Okay, here we go. All right. So this is how the energy vampire is depicted on What We Do in the Shadows.
My name is Colin Robinson, and I am what's known as a psychic vampire or energy vampire.
Colin, what are you doing in here?
This is my bedroom. I'm resting. Am I a morning person? That would be an enthusiastic yes.
I've never had anyone in here. I have a strobe light up and a couple speakers playing some acid jazz.
I have some paintings, some pictures. I found it at a Holiday Inn. Nandor! I wake up hungry and I get to feed all day.
Go away, please, Colin Robinson.
Nandor, it's time to name that tune.
See, he feeds by irritating people. He feeds off draining people of their patience.
Get him out of here.
Would you get out of here?
I made it up.
Sleeping.
That's why I call my morning cup of coffee.
This is my office, also known as the hunting ground.
Dan, how are you? Mornings are great for feeding. People aren't really, frustrated yet by the entire day.
I don't know. Is this turkey cut freshly from the breast, or is it a pre-processed roll?
The guy with questions for the waiter.
Our meats are actually freshly sliced.
Oh, I prefer the roll.
We are day walkers, not affected by the sun.
Everyone kind of focuses on the day part of Daywalker, but actually no one focuses on the walker part. There's a lot of walking.
Notice how they're all bored to shit. You just bore people to death.
According to the statute, if Mr. Chapman's residence was originally zoned as a mixed-use or multiple dwelling structure,
I come here every week. It's a smorgasbord of banality and despair.
Mr. Robinson, you're next up. Is Mr.
I'm just gonna
Robinson
do
here?
a quick mega feed, and then I'll be right
Mr.
back.
Robinson, are you?
Council, Madam President, when it comes to zoning ordinances, I have a few thoughts. Ordinance, what does it mean?
Are you leaving with us?
No, I can't stand up right now, if you know what I mean.
Energy vampires, they're real. Oh, they're real. They're out there. No, Byron. Russ was not an energy vampire. And yes, he did go to these meetings as well, but he was not an energy vampire. There's somebody else who would raise their hand and try. Oh my God. You sit down at your desk and are about to start your workday when a coworker saunters up to you. After 20 minutes of chatting, your colleague finally leaves you alone, but you find that you are too drained to complete any tasks efficiently. You've become the latest victim of an energy vampire. Energy vampires are toxic people who suck away your life force, leaving you emotionally exhausted, whether they are egotistical, manipulative, or just overly talkative. One of their favorite hunting grounds is the office, so employees need to be cautious when returning to in-person work. This according to Tessa West, Associate Professor of Psychology at New York University. I think of these people as depleters because every time you interact with them, it's a stressful experience. Some of these predators are easier to spot than others. However, the most tried and true signs are feelings of uncertainty and apprehension prior to engaging with them. If you can actually feel your heart rate and your palms are physically sweating, that means you're in a really rough spot because most of the time, stress responses aren't perceptible. Feeling stuck talking to someone who doesn't contribute to your work goals may also be an indicator. You feel like you've been busy all day, but you barely completed any tasks. These people can be disguised as extroverts who provide input at meetings. That's the people who raises their hand, who provide input at meetings and volunteer to join committees to be seen as recognized, but who rarely complete any of the tasks themselves. Other times, energy vampires are blatant pessimists, said Peter Economy, author of Wait, I'm Working with Who? Stupid book title. They are people who walk into a room with a rain cloud over their head, and over time, the victim may become more negative too, he says. Managers aren't exempt from being energy vampires. A leader who allocates work to other people without offering to do anything and invents problems daily, ones that don't exist, may also be an energy vampire. Introverts and people who see the best in others are often prime targets for these energy vampires. I think most people assume that people are good and are not going to try and harm them, he says. Energy vampires can sense weakness, so they also go after those who are conflict averse and easy to railroad, West said. They try and prey on those who aren't comfortable standing up to them for themselves in the moment. They also avoid coworkers who have a rich social network because those fellow employees act as a metaphorical set of bodyguards. All right, so if you're a popular, cool person in the office, then the energy vampires are going to avoid you because they know that you've got a support system of other people who like you and that at any moment they could come over and interrupt and save you. Learn to fight back. The first step to stopping an energy vampire from preying on you is to recognize that you're being targeted. Once you spot those warning signs, refuse to play the game. It's always best to avoid interactions with the perpetrator if you can, but if it's unavoidable, you need to develop a blunt communication style. Say lines like, okay, it's time for you to leave. This conversation is over. That's something I would say. That's absolutely something I would say. Do it with a smile. Make a laugh about it. And then be like, no, but seriously, get out of here. No, seriously, get out of here. I need you to get out of here. I'm trying to do something. When you're standing, it creates a kind of, don't sit down at your desk. Well, that's kind of hard to do. Don't sit down at your desk because energy vampires don't pick up on subtle nonverbal signals that it's time to leave, and they will stay there forever if you're comfortable. When you're standing, it creates a kind of urgency or discomfort that this interaction isn't going to last very long, West also said. To finish the conversation, tell the other person you need to go. Then leave your workplace and go on a quick trip to the bathroom or somewhere else. Like regular vampires, energy vampires shy away from sunlight. They will avoid employees who have a bright, positive personality. If you're naturally very optimistic and you deflect their behavior, then they're going to find somebody else who is weaker and doesn't have the same defense. And then there's the whole thing. Could you be an energy vampire? Yeah, I very much could. I sit here for 2 hours and talk, and people, I act like people are interested. I could definitely be one. One indicator that you may be an energy vampire is if you feel your work correspondence is being sent into a black hole. You might be constantly trying to set up meetings, or I don't care about this anymore. All right, there you go. That's why energy vampire is trending. I love the concept of the energy vampire. What else is trending today? Okay, so for the last week or so, I've been saying that I'm avoiding this just tidal wave of sports stuff, whether it's Major League Baseball trades or NCAA stuff or football free agency. But I just for a moment here, NFL offseason has been trending. This is why I want to stop on this, because not a single subject is trending. Not a single, trade or a single controversy, if you will, is trending concerning the NFL offseason. Just in general, NFL offseason is trending. Why? It's been a balls crazy NFL offseason. I remember when the NFL Network started a number of years ago. I remember thinking, the hell are they going to talk about in March? Right? Didn't we all think that? Like, what the hell? There's football's over, and then what? You got to wait till minicamp, and then there's going to be something. Holy crap. This particular NFL offseason has been insane. I made a little list here of just things off the top of my head that start. Okay, so the NFL offseason began with an absolutely massive bombshell. Brian Flores suing the league for violations of the Rooney Rule. This was a huge deal until we all forgot about it because everything that came after it. So 1, Brian Flores sues the league. 2, Tom Brady retires. 3, Aaron Rodgers drama, coinciding with Aaron Rodgers finally signing. 4, the crazy coaching carousel that would have been the most important part of the offseason, with a couple of free agency moves in any normal year. But here, it just comes in at number 4, crazy coaching carousel. 5, Tom Brady unretires. Unretires. Brian Flores coaches Aaron Rodgers. Boom, 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 boom. Free agency moves. You can't even just mention one. You got to just go down the list of massive free agent and trade moves that have occurred in this offseason in the NFL. Russell Wilson, Von Miller, Khalil Mack, Matt Ryan, Carson Wentz, Devontae Adams, Mitch Trubisky, all with new teams. Deshaun Watson to the Browns. Baker Mayfield without a team. The Heisman Trophy winner, number 1 overall pick from just a few years ago, without a team. Tyreek Hill to the Dolphins in a blockbuster yesterday, and we still have all the draft talk. And I didn't even mention the Combine, which occupied a good week of NFL offseason news. If there has ever been any question as to what the dominant sport in the United States of America is, it has been answered with this offseason. The only thing better than the NFL season is the NFL offseason. This is crazy. A reality show can now be made about the NFL offseason because of all of these huge, massive things that have happened that concern directly the league and the fans and all of that stuff. Just nuts, just crazy. And then there are other things I didn't even mention. I didn't mention Calvin Ridley. There's just like a whole bunch. The Cowboys issues, those were big league-wide deals. Nobody mentions that. Coaches that got fired, coaches that moved around. That's just crazy. It's been insane. That's why NFL offseason is trending, because this has been an absolutely insane past couple of months. And again, it started with the blockbuster of Brian Flores suing the league. Tom Brady retires. Tom Brady unretires. I mean, it's just crazy. Russell Wilson drama. Deshaun Watson. I mean, it's crazy. Devonta Adams. Aaron Rodgers. Okay, what else do we have? The Kings of Chaos are trending. Do you know what that's about? I did not know who the Kings of Chaos were, so I had to click on it. The Kings of Chaos are a super group. They're like a metal super group. Well, here, let me see exactly who they are. I'll tell you who the Kings of Chaos are. I'd never heard of them, but they are trending in conjunction, I guess, with the Indianapolis 500. The Kings of Chaos are a hard rock supergroup with international membership featuring a core lineup of drummer Matt Sorum, The Cult, Guns N' Roses, bassist Duff McKagan, Guns N' Roses, Gilby Clarke, Guns N' Roses, Velvet Revolver, as well as a revolving appearances from members of Def Leppard, Deep Purple, Aerosmith, and many more. I've never heard of the Kings of Chaos. Apparently they play music from all of those bands. But why are they trending? The Kings of Chaos are trending because they're playing with Rick Springfield, who's apparently joined the Kings of Chaos, which is awesome, which shows that the Kings of Chaos are cool. And by the way, this is something only real musicians know. Rick Springfield is a really good guitar player. Like, yes, of course, he was turned into a pop idol and Jesse's Girl and all that kind of stuff. But above and beyond all that, Rick Springfield is considered a really good guitar player. That's all I'm saying. He was, I guess he became, if memory serves, he became famous. He became like he was discovered. He started out on General Hospital as an actor. But he was a musician. He wanted to be a musician, but he was good looking. And he got discovered by just some scout who was scouting for soap operas. And he got discovered for General Hospital because he won some like international guitar player competition. Like he was like the best guitar player of all of these guitar players in the world, or I don't know, whatever it was. But he got, discovered, and they said, "You want to be on TV in America?" And he's an Australian kid. He's like, "All right." So he came over. And then suddenly he's like a big star on General Hospital. He's like, I'm also a musician. That's really my main thing. I'm a musician. And that's why and then he had a hit with Jesse's Girl and he had a couple other hits and all that stuff. But there you go. So the Indy 500 this year is going to feature a big celebration, big band, big concert out there. It's headlined by the Kings of Chaos with Rick Springfield, which is interesting. Probably why it's trending. Ross Rubio says nothing screams chaos like Rick Springfield. That's true. Adam Reyna. You know what? Adam Schefter said that Mitch Trubisky. I just read a list of things that Adam. So you know what, Adam? Shut up. Adam Reyna is the energy vampire in the room. Adam Reyna is the biggest energy vampire in this chat room. He was that's what you are. You are an energy vampire. Just stop it. Switzerland is trending. This isn't fun. Switzerland is trending. A crazy religious family jumped to their death off a 7-story building because the police were at their door because they were homeschooling their kids. Terrible story. Anyway, I don't even know why I included that. I certainly shouldn't have put it in here after the Kings of Chaos story. I don't, sometimes these things just don't happen properly. You are a Colin Robinson, Adam. Chael Sonnen. Okay, so here's a little bit of a run here and it wasn't intended. It was just all of these stories started popping up. They were all around at some point or another. So you know who Chael Sonnen is? Chael Sonnen is an ESPN guy. He hosts their ESPN Fight Night stuff for UFC. He's a former UFC fighter. He was a good fighter, but what he's truly good at is talking. He's a really articulate guy. He's really smart, and above and beyond all that, Chael Sonnen is really funny. he's an asshole. He is a really, like, he's the worst kind of person because he could kick your ass 10 times over because he's really good at fighting. But also, if you're not going to fight physically, he will slice and dice you with, he's the greatest trash talker. Well, Conor McGregor kind of gets that credit now. But aside from Conor McGregor, Chael Sonnen was the greatest trash talker and fight promoter in the history of the UFC. So when he finally retired, ESPN went, we got to put him on camera. We got to make him our lead guy. And as it turns out, he's like a lead analyst for ESPN's coverage of UFC. And now he's a completely different character. His character isn't the guy that was always selling fights where he would just have the worst cut downs for the people. Really smart, with big words and stuff. He's not that at all. Now he's like a really competent analyst of fights, and he's good. I like Chael Sonnen, but he's an idiot. I mean, he's a jerk. He's got that asshole streak in him. Chael Sonnen has now been charged with a felony because he's been arrested. He was arrested. This happened back in January, or December. Yes, it happened in December. In December, Chael Sonnen was cited over an altercation that allegedly took place inside a Las Vegas hotel room. Initially, he was charged with 5 counts of misdemeanor battery by the Clark County District Attorney. However, in January, those charges were dismissed. They were dismissed without prejudice, which means that they don't think that these charges, it means one of two things. It means we don't think we can get convictions on these charges, or it means, wait, I think he did something much worse. We need to continue investigating and we will recharge him at a later date. So when something is dismissed without prejudice, that's what it means. Dismissed with prejudice means there is no basis for these charges in the first place and this is over, move on. So it was dismissed in January. He thought he was scot-free. And now this week they have recharged. They've refiled charges against Chael Sonnen in an incident that occurred in a Las Vegas hotel room back in December. Now, what happened? The new criminal complaint filed on March 16th charges Sonnen with 11 counts of battery, including felony strangulation. Sonnen is due in court to answer these charges on April the 27th. The criminal complaint obtained by ESPN claims that Sonnen physically engaged with 6 people in a hotel room. The complaint further claims that Sonnen strangled one of those people, a man, and that he allegedly used force of violence upon a woman who was also in the room. The complaint also alleges that Sonnen punched, kicked, and used an elbow strike on 4 of the other men in the room. All right. So that sounds pretty bad. It's like, what the hell's going on? Why is Chael Sonnen? First of all, I don't want to be in this happened at the Luxor. I don't want to be in a small Luxor hotel room with a maniacal Chael Sonnen throwing elbows and kicks. No, people are going to get hurt. So here's the story. That sounds bad, right? That sounds really bad. And maybe this shouldn't have gone down this way, but here is the story as it played out. Chael Sonnen was down in the casino. He was gambling. His wife left him at the casino table. She said, I'm going back to the room, honey, you have fun, whatever. She goes up and she's in the elevator with some Vegas dude bros, and she's very hot. And the Vegas dude bros were apparently drunk, and they harassed her and they touched her and whatever. And it just so happens that these Vegas dude bros were staying in a room that was just a couple of doors down from the room that the Sonnens were staying in. So Chael Sonnen comes back from the casino, and the wife tells him about these idiots and what they did to her. And Chael Sonnen goes down to their hotel room. There's video of it. He bangs on the door. There's video of him being let out. He's shirtless too. It's like he jumped in the shower, and when he got out of the shower, he's like, "What's the matter, babe?" And she's like, "Oh, those assholes not." He's like, "What?" And so he goes down there and he bangs on the door, and the dudes come to the door. They obviously didn't know they were dealing with Chael Sonnen. That's a big mistake. If you're going to, first of all, don't harass women. I don't care if you're drunk in Vegas partying it up. So he busts his way into the hotel room and he beats the fuck out of everybody in the room. Not good? No, but it's not like he's, there's something slightly chivalrous about him, defending the honor of his wife. It's a bit Well, it's all I'm saying is it's not like what we saw with John Jones, where John Jones just beat up his girlfriend in the lobby of Caesar's Palace, right? That's a totally different thing. This is a guy, who his wife was accosted and she said she was assaulted, and he went and kicked everyone's ass. There's video out there circulating of Chael Sonnen peacefully being led away in handcuffs by the Las Vegas Police Department. He's not wearing a shirt. I don't know what that's about. I like to imagine he came back from the casino, jumped in the shower, like maybe they were doing something, and they were going to go out to dinner or something, and she was in a bad mood. He said what happened. She told him what happened, and then he still, without the shirt from the shower, walks down a couple of doors. Gong, gong, gong. What'd you do to my wife? All right, so there you go. That's what Chael Sonnen is trending. I'm not defending him because he's an arrogant. Oh God, it's so hard for me to there was a time when Chael Sonnen was like my favorite MMA personality because he's so funny. He's so funny in a really smart and belittling way. Like he should be in pro wrestling. He should be like one of these pro wrestling guys. He's not over the top, like doing a character. No, he'll talk to you and he will slice and dice you with words. And most of the guys that he did this to are big dumb meatheads who have no idea. Chael Sonnen's got a law degree. He's a smart guy. He's he's a college graduate. He got to pass the bar exam. He was going to run for Congress at one point, but then he got into ESPN. So I don't know. It's kind of messed up. Also, Conor McGregor is trending. Conor McGregor has been arrested in Ireland. Conor McGregor is not a Chael Sonnen type. Conor McGregor is a big dummy. Conor McGregor is McGregor is a big dumb Irish meathead, big dumb Irish potato. That's all he is. He was driving his Bentley. He's got this like super expensive Bentley, and he was racing around Dublin, and he got arrested for it. And UFC star Conor McGregor charged by police in Ireland. Let's see what it was. He was driving at some ridiculously fast speed because Conor McGregor's a big dumb meathead who I also enjoy. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy his antics, but he's a big dumb meathead. If I walked into a bar and Conor McGregor was there, I'd be like, let's get out of here because this big dumb meathead, anything could go wrong. Conor McGregor has been charged by police after being arrested for allegedly dangerous driving. 33-year-old UFC star, not just UFC star, the number one highest paid athlete in the world for 2021. Yeah. He's number one. Lewis Hamilton of F1 is like number 3 or something. But Conor McGregor, the number one, the highest paid athlete for the year 2021. Now, a lot of that had to do with the fact that he created this whiskey brand, Proper 12, and he sold it for like $1 billion or $2 billion, whatever it is. The whiskey brand took off and he sold it to a big distiller for like a couple $1 billion. So he made like a ridiculous amount of money. Conor McGregor has been charged by police after being arrested for dangerous driving. The 33-year-old UFC star was arrested in Dublin on Tuesday. He's now being charged by Irish police over the alleged incident. In a statement, the police told Sky Sports, Gardaí, that's what the Irish call their police. The Garda. Yeah, they're going to call the Garda. Garda arrested a man aged in his 30s in relation to an incident of dangerous driving in Palmerstown area yesterday evening. The man was taken to Lucian Garda station, where he was later charged. He has been released pending an appearance. Meanwhile, a spokesman for the sports star told the Mail Online, Mr. McGregor was driving to the gym when he was stopped by Garda for alleged road traffic violations. He passed the drug and alcohol tests, but was taken to the station anyway. McGregor, who is one of the most high-profile athletes in the world, recently claimed he's nearing a return to the UFC after breaking his leg in July of 2021. The injury led to speculation that he might quit the sport, but McGregor remains determined to return to the octagon. Okay, there you go. That's all we need to know. So 2 UFC legends have been arrested. Now, and this is, again, I didn't do this on purpose. I did not do this on purpose. Mike Tyson is trending. Mike Tyson. Now, why is Mike Tyson trending? Mike Tyson was at a comedy show, a rooftop comedy show in LA, just sitting there, being nice, quiet, docile, the old lion that is Mike Tyson these days, just sitting there watching the show, and some freaking lunatic shows up who wants to be Mike Tyson's friend, right? Middle of a comedy show. Guys on stage. I got video, I'll show you. Guys on stage. And the guys go, no, stop the show. Mike, what's up, Mike? What's up, baby? What? You know, it's like that whole thing, like some idiot. Like, wow, what world you live in? And then security pulls the guy away. Like, you got to get out of here, man. In the middle of a show here, as would happen in any club where this kind of ridiculous thing is happening. The guy gets pulled away. He reaches into his wristband, pulls out a gun and cocks it and starts going, that whole thing. Crazy. And it's all captured on video. We've got it for you right here. Let's watch this. But it's the reason Mike Tyson is trending is because of the way Mike Tyson handled the situation. Because it's off TMZ. There's a very good chance that we're going to have to. Is this it? Yep. All right, here we go. All right, so let's share this and let's watch this. You'll see the back of Mike Tyson and you'll see the guy talking to him. There we go.
Yeah.
All I need is shoot.
Huh?
All I need is shoot.
Who is this?
Can I get a favor, bro? Hey, Cam, get out there. Mike.
Hey, what the fuck are you doing, man? Get the fuck up out of here. I'm not playing with you. Get up out of here, bro. Hey, I don't give a fuck.
I'm joking, family. How are you?
Here comes the gun. Yeah. Check out Mike Tyson. Tyson doesn't even flinch. Tyson is just like, okay, this is happening. Everybody runs. That's everybody running out of the room. And now after this, to try and diffuse the situation, Tyson stays completely calm like the old lion that he is, calls the dude over. All the dude wanted was a little special attention from Mike Tyson.
All right.
There you go. What? No, Brown's video. Excuse me. Hey. Shalom. There it is. I don't play like that, man. Fuck that. Mike, though. Hey, man, you good. You a sucker. You a bitch ass. Hey, you good.
Sometimes you just know it.
Hey, thank you, Mike. Get up for Mike.
Crazy, man. Parker and I, the last couple of nights, we've been talking about how there are just these people out there. There are these people out there. That dude is a crazy person. He's out. He pulls a gun. But how about Mike Tyson? Just sitting there, doesn't flinch. He sees the situation getting crazy. Dude has a gun. He understands that all this dude wanted was to spend a little bit of time with Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson recognizes this. He sees that the dude has a gun. He doesn't want anybody to get crazy. So Mike says, come on over here, man. Mike Tyson has been through every horrible thing that a person who consistently makes bad decisions in their life can be through. And I have to imagine that along with that, there has been a lot of self-reflection, a lot of therapy, a lot of all kinds of personal head work that Mike Tyson has done on himself, because there is no denying that within the last 10 years, Mike Tyson has become, I don't know if I'm going to say a model citizen, but a really sort of decent and calm and even interesting, fun person compared to in 1989. If you just said Mike Tyson will still be alive in 2022, how much money would you have bet that he had died somehow? That something crazy that Mike Tyson was getting into back in 1990 would have ended his life prematurely. Mike Tyson has aged. Mike Tyson has become more fermented. He's quiet. He's the old lion now. And for some reason, this situation that could have ended really badly, that dude had a loaded gun that he cocked and started waving around in front of people. That person was on drugs. That dude was on cocaine. That's how a dude who is just spinning on cocaine behaves. They think that they can stop a comedy show and start talking to Mike Tyson. That person was not, even if it wasn't cocaine, that person wasn't in his right frame of mind. That person who wasn't in their right frame of mind had a gun. He was waving it around. He cocked it, and he's aiming it at people, and he's telling people that he's going to shoot them. Mike Tyson, without flinching, sees this, understands that all this guy wants is a little bit of one-on-one attention, and instead of exacerbating the situation where now suddenly we've got a dead bouncer, a dead patron, a dead waitress, or whatever, Mike Tyson just calls the guy over, diffuses the situation, and just gives the guy a little bit of love. I'm telling you. He wasn't, that was really impressive. That was really impressive. Mike Tyson, look at him. Who'd have thought Mike Tyson would have turned into the person he turned into? And finally tonight, Ice-T is trending. That's right. Who doesn't love Ice-T? Well, a lot of people back in 1990. Wow, we went from Mike Tyson to Ice-T. Two dudes who have completely... People can't change. Really? Because Mike Tyson and now Ice-T, they've completely changed. They are totally different people than who they were in 1990. Ice-T, of course, Ice-T, who had the band Body Count, who had a song Cop Killer, who was banned across America for his song Cop Killer, has now been playing a cop on TV for the last 20 years. People can change. Ice-T is trending because he put out a tweet earlier today. The tweet said, very serious tweet. Ice-T says, I was robbed at a gas station in New Jersey last night. After my hand stopped trembling, I managed to call the cops, and they were quick to respond. They calmed me down. My money is gone. The police asked me if I knew who did it, and I said yes. It was pump number 9. Ice-T fishing me in. When I first read that, I'm like, Ice-T got robbed? That's a joke. Ice-T, look at him. It's a good joke. It's a good joke for this times that we live in, where everything's so freaking expensive, especially gas. Oh, my goodness. All right, that's going to do it. That's going to do it for at least the stuff that I had prepared for you. Look at me going a little bit late, and we're still not even done yet. So for those of you who are still hanging out, there's more coming. I got nowhere to be. If you can help out with the show, please do. We've gotten 0 tips. We've got 0 tips in over a week. This is not going to work out. This is not working out. It's not going well. So this month has been terrible. We haven't even got two tips all month. 2 tips all month. Not even close to paying for this thing. Again, we do 2 shows a day. We do the Monday through Friday high noon show, which is right here. And then we come back every Monday through Thursday and we do Pillow Talk. The tips don't go to any kind of fancy lifestyle. The tips go to paying all the bills around here so that we're able to do this. There is something coming though. Going to have an announcement, hopefully, I'm thinking next week. But that ain't going to help us with this month. So if there's any way that you can support the show with a tip or a gratuity or whatever, if you enjoy the show, help keep us going. All right, let me see what else we got here. Ice-T is still trending. Ice-T is still trending for that joke that he put out there. You tip the show by that right there at the bottom of the screen. Bottom of the screen. It's got all the information that you need. Joker is trending. That wasn't trending before. The Batman released deleted Joker scenes. Okay. Ice-T is trending. Ice-T is trending because of I was robbed at a gas station in New Jersey last night. Okay. So we just did that. Okay. The baseball trades. We got some baseball trades trending. Heath Ledger is trending. Why is Heath Ledger? Oh, because Joker's trending. Yeah, people are, even though it has nothing to do with Heath Ledger, it's like, he was the greatest Joker. I don't know if that's true. I remember back in the day we all said that, but I don't know if he's the greatest Joker. Joaquin Phoenix is a pretty good Joker. Just saying. But Bill Nye is trending, but not for anything interesting, just because, wasn't he great? And yes, he was. We still got Hannibal Lecter is trending. Why is Hannibal? Nobody cares. That's it. Yeah, there's nothing new trending. All right, let's see in the chat room. What do we have going on here in the chat room? Is anybody got anything that they had said? And come on, there's got to be something that the chat room energy vampire Adam Reyna has said that could get me triggered to make me keep going. All right. Yeah, I don't really see anything. Yeah, where is Jeff? Byron wants to know, where's Jeff? Was Jeff in here today? I have no idea. I don't know. I didn't see Jeff. But you're right. You point that out. Where is Jeff? I had no Jeff. I had no Leslie today. I mean, I had the lovely and talented Leslie Collins, but she's only 50% of the Leslie. I've got room for another Leslie. We have a seat up front for it. She didn't show up today. She's busy though. We get that. Byron says, I was president of the debate club. I could handle the country. No, you couldn't. No, you couldn't. I'm sorry, you couldn't. Couldn't. You just couldn't. None of us could. Rob Barr says San Francisco sucks. And he says that from San Francisco. That's where Rob is. Talking about the Lindsey Graham bizarre soundbite fishing cross-examination of KBJ yesterday. Tom Beller says, Lindsey Graham talked about how much child porn was on the internet. I wish KBG could have asked Lindsey how much of that porn is on his personal devices. Or how do you know? I wouldn't even know how to, how do you, first of all, there's got to be a lingo, right? Like, so that's basically, Lindsey Graham tried to make KBJ yesterday sound like she was pro child porn, which is madness. It's just so ridiculous. And it was so disingenuous the way he went about it. And then he took her answer and he basically acted like she said something completely different than what she said. But he did it because he knew that he could just act like, I have never heard anything. So, and everybody's like, what? That's not what she said. You've never heard because you didn't hear it now. That's not what she said, dude. But, and look, we've been watching these weird ass predator videos on YouTube where people catch these predators in real time. And they're out there. And that is really disturbing, boy. Had no idea there were this many of those people out there. But like, is there okay, so here's what I would think. This is me. I don't know. I'm just like a normal guy. Well, I got some hang-ups, but you know what I mean? I'm a pretty normal guy. I assume that there is no child porn freely accessible on the web, right? Right? I mean, how would you even check that? Do you Google search child porn? Because I ain't doing that. NSA, whatever. I don't know. I am never putting that into my. But if it does exist, because don't you have to, like, isn't that like a part of the dark web, which is another thing I don't fully understand, but I understand that like there's like a different kind of browser that you need to use if you want to buy, like, I don't know, a dead body or, whatever. It's because there are people, like, I've read stories about people who buy drugs on the dark web. And they just get mailed to their house. Like, no big deal, no problem. Here you go. Here's your shipment of ecstasy that you bought from somebody in Australia. And they always say on the dark web. And I always assumed that was an altogether different internet than the one that Pornhub is on. You know what I mean? Like, there's no, is there? I mean, there's not, I wouldn't, I would ask Lindsey Graham, how do you know so much about child porn? I think the average person doesn't know any. The average person has never seen it. Hopefully, I mean, hopefully it's not that prevalent. But then I watch all of these like predator videos, and one of the questions that they ask all the predators is, do you have child porn on your phone? And they're all like, yeah. I'm like, what? What? How available is? Not that I mean, good Lord, could you imagine? Anyway. I didn't understand the whole, like, what was Lindsey Graham getting at? I have no idea. I have no idea what he was getting. Here's what I think. All right, how do I say this without, because the issue of the exploitation of innocent children through the means of creating child pornography is a very real thing. And those children, God bless those children, they're not participating willingly. They are being abused in the most atrocious and socially appalling manner. That's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. So I'm not trying to lessen the awful things that are occurring to these children. But is it a really big problem? I mean, like I said, I don't know anybody who's ever. God, I hope not. I mean, again, this is the thing that we're learning with these predator shows. We don't know how many of these weird ass child molesters are out there. And they all have child porn. How did this start? Well, I started looking at child porn online. I'm like, what? Doesn't Google, you can just Google child porn and like Google allows that to happen? I don't know. I don't know anything about this stuff. And don't we all have like internet services, right? So like we all connect to the internet through an internet service that is at my house. Like, here's how I've never thought about it within the realm of like child pornography, but I've thought about it like, what if I found a website that was going to sell me a bunch of weed really cheap and I could have it mailed to my house? I wouldn't do it because we've got AT&T internet. And I just, connecting one thing to the other, I assume that it would be easy for somebody in the know to know where that request came from. I mean, they could literally target it straight to my house, straight to the house where I am. I don't know how this shit works, man. Adam, do you know about the dark web? Oh God, his cousin. Oh, you know what? I think you've mentioned that before. I don't want to go into that, Adam, but I'm sorry for your family. He says you use the dark web, basically. Yeah, and that's what I don't know. What is the dark web? Like, is the dark like okay? So can I just like Google search dark web? I don't even want to do that. See, I don't even want to put that into my Google search. Over the years, I've had enough anxiety brought on by particular Pornhub searches, right? Like I don't want. Really? Black guys and cheerleaders? That's something that you're into? Why? It's normal. It is normal. I just threw that out there. That's not, trust me. My back in the olden days, I'm really not all that. Is Pornhub even still a thing? I think it is, because every time the World Wide Web stuff come out, it's like the number one website in the world is like Pornhub. So it's got to still be a thing. And I hope you know that if I was a big, but it's like, you're just saying that. You're probably on Pornhub all the time. I think you know. I think I have the credentials over the last 20 years that if that was a part of my peccadillo, I'd be open about it. I'd be free about it. I'd probably even want to talk about it. But I don't know. I'm just, as my friend Leslie called me the other day in the chat room, I've become a monk in that regard. I really am. And I'm happy. Schwartz, my Dr. Schwartz, he says that I need to get testosterone shots. I'm like, no, I don't. No, I don't. I'm totally fine. You'll feel so much better. Oh, what do you mean? I'll be really horny? I don't need to be really horny. I'm totally fine. I feel great. I'm accomplishing things. I'm working towards goals. All right. The dark web, Adam says, the dark web is any site that is not indexed. Okay, I understand that. So many companies and internet sites are dark web. Okay. So, but you use the same internet, right? Like you don't need a different thing to connect. You don't need, like, you could just, you know what? I don't need, this is not an area that I need to be informed in, because I'm such a curious weirdo that there will probably come a time I'm like, I want to see what's going on this dark net. Hey, dude, I bought a human head. It's coming in the mail. You know, like I don't need that. I don't need that kind of thing in my life. You use an onion router to access it, I think. I'm not an expert. I don't know what an onion router is. I don't know what that is. And you know what? Honestly, maybe that's why I should stop this. I don't know what it is. I don't want to know what it is. All right, let's see what else is happening. But yeah, it was a very strange out of left field thing that Lindsey Graham started to really drill down on during his, and it was so blatantly obvious that he is just trying to, like, maybe in his reelection, he wants to turn child porn into a thing. And he's a crusade, and he wants to sort of frame himself as a crusader. So he saw this as an opportunity for, whenever he runs for re-election again, they'll be able to have these campaign ads. Lindsey Graham is protecting your children. I can't believe that you feel this way about child porn. Like something like that. Maybe that's what he was doing. Like he was just looking downfield a little bit. But it just seems so ridiculous. Why Alan Dershowitz is trending. Lawyer Alan Dershowitz criticizes Senator Ted Cruz and Lindsey Graham's line of questioning during Supreme Court nominee KBJ's hearings. On Ted Cruz, Alan Dershowitz said his line of questioning was absurd. I don't even know what he was getting into. I have no idea. I have no idea what Ted Cruz. I tune out Ted Cruz. He is such an embarrassment for this great state. The very idea that great, strong, salt of the earth Texans have reelected this guy who is obviously a creep. He's just a creep. He's not even a Texan. He's Canadian, and his whatever. He is the quintessential carpetbagger. That is what Ted Cruz is. And he duped the rural folks, and there's enough of them in Texas to keep reelecting him. Ay. All right, that's it. I got nothing else. I think we're going to call it a show. We're going to call that a show. Again, help out, man. If you can tip the show something, man. Come on. I mean, this is this is like the worst. This is a really bad month. Now, I also, for the first 2 weeks of the month, I didn't bring it up because I don't like to bring it up until it's important. But we could use the support. There you go. You can use it any of those ways right there on the bottom to help the show out. And we still got 6, 7. Yeah, we're I'm just nervous because we're on the 24th and we've got nothing. We got John and April. John and April have helped us out this month. We appreciate that. That's it. Let's see here. I can't find it. I'm trying to find our closing theme. I don't know what we're going to do on Pillow Talk tonight. It's a Thursday Pillow Talk. There's not going to be any theme song. Spotify seems to be down. Yeah, there's no reason for us to really. Tom says Lindsey Graham and other senators grilled her on child porn. I don't like to say that. Grilled her on child porn because she sentenced the people convicted of this less than what the law allowed, so she must be soft. Oh, okay, I get it. So they're just cherry picking things.
I have got my poetry. I have got my songs. To see me through the night.
What is Silver Nickels and Golden Dimes, Byron? Is that another John Hinckley song? Are we delving into the John Hinckley songbook? I'm not sure what that is. Let me go back. Let's see what else. Oh, are you talking about me prostrating myself, begging for donations on the show? I don't know. Doesn't matter. I'm sticking with this. This is our closing theme. The best. I am on a never-ending quest. I can smile a little now. Things are going. Hey, Adam. Adam says I love Chris Redd's impression of him. Who? I'm sorry, I'm a little bit out of Chris Redd does good impressions, but who? Adam says I love Chris Redd's impression of him, and I'm not sure who you're talking about. Okay. I know it ain't Lindsey Graham. Oh, Cory Booker. Oh, okay. Yeah. Fast Outdoor Food says, I listened to the beginning of the show and just getting back. I had your body type and jogged for years. After years of experimenting, here's the trick. 3 days of weights, full body, 1 day CrossFit, 1 stream on YouTube, Fitness Blender, 1 day jog 30, took 4 months to get in summer shape. Well, I'm not even trying to get in summer shape. I'm just trying to make sure that when I put on an extra large dress shirt that it doesn't feel uncomfortable. Because I will never buy a XX shirt again. Oh, that was a humiliating thing a few years back. I remember thinking, really? So I guess I'm now a XX. I mean, I'm not now. This is an extra large. I'd like to be comfortable in an extra large, and I am. I'm currently comfortable in an extra large. I don't think I'm going to ever wear a large. I mean, I think the goal would be to wear an extra large shirt, but have it be a little bit baggy. But also, then I'd be in this weird spot where if I tried to wear a large shirt, it would be too tight. Byron, you were 4X? I hope you got better. I hope you took care of yourself. Never-ending quest. Tomorrow is another day. The best is... This is now almost a 4.5-hour-old cup of coffee. Yet to come. I have found a different way. All right, Byron. Good for you, man. I gotta run. I gotta go out and run. I'm gonna run right now. I'm gonna go out and run right now. That's what I'm gonna do. Good. All right, guys, gotta go. Again, support the show if you can. Love you all. See you tonight at 9. Bye. Down the road I'll travel, far from the comfort nest. Comfort nest alive. I am on a never-ending quest. Adam, that is awesome. I'm sorry, I just looked what Adam said. Adam, man, let's pull it off. You and me together, brother. We can do this.